Hello, hello, everyone. It is Thursday. Hope you're all having a great week. We are almost at the weekend. I haven't really mentioned it so far, I don't think, but this Monday is a holiday in parts of Canada. So I actually have Monday off. So looking forward to getting some editing done and kind of caught up there because I feel like the last few weeks with like YouTube and stuff like that, I've just kind of been perpetually behind. So hoping to kind of catch up this weekend and get a bunch of stuff done. But how's everyone doing? Hey, Pause. Hey, Kissy. How you guys doing today? And hey, Nico. Yeah, I saw in Discord, Nico, you sent me some deck lists because, yeah, today I will be doing some viewer-submitted decks. It originally spurred because I think it was Void mentioned that they graduated yesterday, and they're always raving about a Norganon like OTK deck that they play. So I thought I'd play that deck, and then I figured I might just play some other decks you guys sent me too. So let's go ahead and paste this deck in. Also, what did Nico send me? Oh, it's a Hunter deck. Oh yeah, because yeah, next week, guys, next week is Hunter week. You know, for anyone who maybe didn't hear, it got revealed that my Hunter is still not level 60, even though I've been playing for 10 years now. So I thought it'd be fun to finally get Hunter to level 60. So next week I'll be focusing on Hunter, whether it's standard, wild, whatever. So if you guys have any fun Hunter decks you want to see me play, go ahead and send them over. Next week will be Hunter week. So it looks like Nico sent me one deck, so I'll have to save that one. And this is Void's Mage deck. I believe he said it was a Sif deck with just an Norganon combo built in. From my understanding, you're basically just playing Norganon and then reverbing it a couple times. I think that's how it's working. Hey, Jennifer, how's it going? And hey, Clan, yes, the long-awaited Colossal tier list. So that is the first part of the stream. First of three parts. So first, a viewer of mine, they sent me some custom cards because if anyone's not familiar, I do a weekly custom Hearthstone card series on YouTube. So one of my viewers mentioned, actually, I have multiple viewers that create custom cards because they find me through the videos, but one of mine mentioned that they had some custom cards and they wanted to get my view on them. So they sent me an album, Kissy over on Twitch. So I'll be taking a look at those. I'll be honest, I'm not going to get through all of them because there's quite a bit, I believe, but we can break it up into parts maybe. Like, let's take a look here. How many is there total here? Oh, yeah, 52 more. Okay. Was there like 70 or so here? So yeah, we'll take a look through them. And then the second part of the stream, I will be doing a tier list for all the Colossal minions. And this is inspired by the Titan tier list I did a couple of weeks ago, I think. Very similar mechanics there. So looking forward to that. And then the third part will be the viewer-submitted decks that I mentioned. Also, let me see if I can find it here. I had someone, because I uploaded the Titan tier list, I think last week or something like that, and I had someone comment on it, and they were like, oh yeah, here it is. They some of the comments I got in some of these videos, man, it's like, what's the point? But they commented on the Titan tier list and said, bro, Titans came out 8 months ago. And it's like, so what? You know, if someone reviewed like an old car or something like that, right? Would you be like, yo, that car came out 40 years ago, who cares? But I don't know. Also, I wasn't even making videos 8 months ago. But anyways, I'm sure I'll get a similar comment on this video. Actually, even maybe this is even worse, right? Titans are still standard legal. Colossal's rotated out at this point. But I just think there's so many cool like archetypes that you can tier list like this, right? Although it wouldn't be a very long one, I would like to do like a tier list of Galacrons because I did the whole Galacron series a couple months ago. You could tier list all the old gods. That'd be a good one because each old god has like 2 or 3 cards at this point. So many tier lists. I have a whole spreadsheet full of ideas. And actually, let me look. What are some of the tier list ideas I have written down? Ideas. Oh, Death Knight hero cards. I want to do that because I want to play all the Death Knight hero cards again. Whiz Bang decks. That's a good one. Secrets. Man, I got so many good ones. Also, actually, another one I want to do already, but it ended up being a little bit more complicated to research than I thought, is, you know, prior to expansions coming out, the last couple of years now, they always release a card early. You know, for instance, like, let's go back here. You can take a look. Like, let's look at the last few sets here. So Paradise and Peril, or Perils and Paradise, it was Marin. Was before that Whizbangs. What was Whizbang? Not Geppetto. Oh, Califero. Whizbang was Califero. Badlands was Therazane? Nope. Flint? What was the early card for Whizbangs? Was it Sheriff? This guy? Anyways, every expansion for the last few years now, they always release like a card early, right? To kind of tease it. And I thought it'd be cool to do a tier list of all those cards. And actually, funny enough, they're not all legendaries. You know, there was Volcanosaur, I believe it's called. Oh, I spelled that wrong. Yeah, Volcanosaur. This, they basically, I think they released like a week before Journey to Un'Goro came out. This might have been the first example of them doing this. I'm not sure, but yeah, not all, like they're all legendaries now, but at one point, yeah, there was some rares, there was like some epics or whatnot, but I thought it'd be cool to tier list all of them because some of them were like very, very meta impactful and some of them just kind of did nothing. So I think it'd be cool to go back and look at all of them again. So yeah, lots of tier list ideas. I think tier lists are fun. I don't know about you guys. I think it's really fun just, you know, one, like looking back on old things. Two, it's fun having like the discussions. I like doing them live because we get to talk, you know, and kind of bounce thoughts back and forth. And also too, for people who maybe haven't been playing that long, you know, it could be just new information for you as well, right? You know, for this one specifically, right, for the Colossal, say you started playing in the last couple sets, you might have maybe never saw or got to play the Colossal minions, right? And one of my first tier lists I tier list all of the keywords in the game, and I did a whole like PowerPoint kind of presentation with it because there's keywords from 10 years ago, right, that maybe people have never seen before, and I got so many comments on that video talking about how, you know, they learned a lot from the video. So I think it's cool that you do these tier lists and you get to kind of learn new things. You get to like talk and discuss. So yeah, I like them. I'm gonna keep doing them. Hopefully you guys enjoy them too. But hey, Pod, where is Cottage? Cottage is asleep. She doesn't like hanging out at my office lately when I stream. You know, it's kind of funny. She's learned to recognize like the end of my streams. Like when I'm, you know, thanking everyone for watching and like hoping that you guys have a good night, etc. I feel like she's learned to recognize it because lately I finish my streams and within like a minute she's coming into my office. Like she's like, okay, you're done. I can come in now. Oh yeah, Kissy, that's a good idea. Yeah, do minion types. Yeah, see, the ideas are endless. So yeah, so what we'll do to start off, take a look at some of these custom cards while people filter in, and then we'll do the tier list, and then we'll do some viewer decks. So once again, these are custom cards made by Kissy over on Twitch. Thought we'd take a look and yeah, see what they're like. So Final Servitude, 4-mana Warlock spell, discover a friendly demon that died this game, shuffle it into your deck and give it +2/+2. This is such like a clean design, right? I really like custom cards like this that just have super simple, like, yes, I like custom cards that kind of think outside the box and do like new different things, but I also like the custom cards that just do very simple things because they're cards you could see in the game. Like I could see this effect in the game. So yeah, I very much like ideas like this. Prophet Skitra, 8-mana 6/6 Priest Legendary, Taunt Battlecry, summon a copy of this for every copy of a card in your... Sorry, summon a copy of this for each copy of a card from your opponent you've played this game. So obviously, like, on one hand, this seems crazy, right? Because it gets you like a possibly like a full board of 6/6s, but that's all they do. They're just 6/6 taunts. I feel like there's so much more like busted shit you can do in the game. I don't know. Do you guys think this would be broken? Do you think this would be played? I think it'd be played. I don't think it'd be like busted. If this came out like 5 years ago or something, it'd be insane. But I feel like in modern Hearthstone, it's really not that crazy. And hey Void, how's it going? I've got your mage deck pasted in and ready to go already. Kissy says my cards are fair. Yeah, like I said, I think that this is strong. We're not broken by today's standards. High Seer Tectris, 8 mana 5/5, Battlecry. Replay every copy of a card from your opponent you've played this game. So it's essentially like Priest Tess, which makes sense. You know, Priest has so many like theft and copy effects. Actually, this one, so I'm assuming, so unlike Tess, right? Tess replays any card from another class you've played. From the sounds of it, this would only replay cards you've copied, right? So if you generate like a random warrior card or a random mage card, it wouldn't replay that, I'm guessing. Which this kind of differentiates it from Tess, right? And it makes it more on theme for Priest. So I like it. I love Tess. I love effects like that. I like Thief Priest. So yeah, 2 thumbs up. I'm all for it. And Void says, hopefully you can get an Organon lethal. Yeah, hopefully. We'll see how it goes. Oh, this is bad art for Blizzard, though. Blizzard would not allow this. Imprisoned Syad. 2 mana 4/4, dormant for 2 turns with lifesteal. After this awakens, deal 4 damage to a random enemy minion. You know, I've talked about it in some videos recently, but I really like how Blizzard's been getting more like creative with dormant, right? I think dormant by itself is such a boring keyword. Like, how did I rate it in my tier list, actually? Let me take a look. Keywords. I rated dormant. Where is it? Did I not count dormant? Oh, I did. I rated it a B, but I remember I only rated it a B because some of like the recent dormant cards they've done. I think dormant for the first couple years was like C or D tier. I think dormant was such a boring keyword, but lately they've been doing things where, you know, like while it's dormant or when it awakens, it does something. I think that's much more interesting. So yeah, cool effect. So yeah, it was my first custom card. Oh, nice. And she's a callback to Outland Dormants since Demon Hunter didn't get one. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, the Outland Dormants, right? They did something when they woke up. You know, the Warrior one gave you a Fiery War Axe. The Druid one, I think, reduced a card in your hand by 5 or something. So that's cool. It's a cool throwback. I like completing cycles like that. Like when they brought back the spell stones and they gave Demon Hunter and Death Knight a spell stone to complete the cycle. That was super unexpected, but it was super cool. Felsteed Demon Hunter, 4 mana 4/3, Death Rattle, summon two 2/2s with Rush. Again, super simple design that you can see in the game, right? Which, like I said, there's 2 kinds of custom cards, right? There's the wacky, crazy custom cards, and there's the simpler ones. They're both cool in their own right. Oh, and there's just the token it spawns. Portal Keeper Hasabel. 8 mana 7/7, dual class, Warlock and Demon Hunter. That's Demon Hunter, right? Yeah. At the end of your turn, shuffle 1 of each demonic portal into your deck. So how many is there? 3? So Rancora Portal, summon 3 3-cost demons. Zoroth Portal, summon 2 5-cost demons. Summon a 9-cost demon. Oh, 1 of each portal. That's cool. I like effects like that. I like effects that shuffle things in your deck and then do things when you draw them. It's nice because that is a mechanic that it's much easier to pull off in a digital card game versus a physical card game, right? And that's something I wish Hearthstone would lean more into. I wish Hearthstone would lean more into the fact that they're a digital card game. They can do things they just can't do in a physical card game, right? And they do a lot of that stuff, but I feel like they could go even more crazy with it. So yeah, cool effect. I feel like it makes sense as a dual class card. Spell Empowerment, 3 mana Demon Hunter spell. Give all demons in your hand +2/+2 and outclass end your deck. I feel like it's a strong for 3 mana, isn't it? Like, it's a cool, clean, simple effect, but for 3 mana? I don't know. I just feel like 3 mana, give all demons in your deck and your hand +2/+2. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Hey Zenny, did the Hunter stream happen already? No, so all next week will be Hunter. Next week is Hunter week. So today, I'm just taking a look at some custom cards that Kissy on Twitch sent me, and then I'll be doing a tier list for the Colossal minions, and then I'll be playing some viewer submitted decks. And then next week is Hunter week. Vanguard, Wrathguard. 5 mana, 4/6. Battlecry. If you cast a fell spell this turn, gain +2/+2 in Rush. So I feel like I've said it multiple times, right? But one thing I like about all of these so far is they're just so simple and clean. Like, I feel like just like how there's like power creep in Hearthstone, I feel like there's been power creep in like the custom Hearthstone scene too. Like, people who make custom cards, and don't get me wrong, they're cool too, but people who make custom cards, I feel like they really feel the need to just like keep upping the ante and doing like crazier and crazier shit. But sometimes just simple, clean cards like this are cool. I think because it's easier to imagine cards like this in the game versus like the really wacky shit, right? Also, Zenny's got some cool decks for you to play with. Thunderjammer deck and a Chimera deck. Perfect. Yes, I'm looking forward to the Hunter decks you guys are going to send me. Especially, you know, I don't have a lot of experience playing Hunter, right? So there's probably a bunch of different like combos and archetypes and stuff that I've just never played. Also, pod, it means you like boom bots. It also does something when you draw it. So I do like Bomb Warrior a lot. And I'm kind of a hypocrite because I hate Plague Death Knight, and they're very, very similar. But I don't know. I just like Warrior as a class more, I think. Zuck says a lot of these seem really strong, but yeah, 3 for +2/+2 to all is crazy. Yeah, I feel like this could be 4 at least. But again, it's an effect I can see in the game, right? Zenny says, oh, by the way, I found some custom-made Hearthstone cards I made as a kid. Spoiler, they would suck in Standard today. That's cool. Man, if you have them uploaded anywhere, go ahead and send them to me. That's funny. Yeah, the Hearthstone has definitely changed over the last 10 years, right? I should... Man, actually, that's an idea for a video. I should go back and take a look at custom Hearthstone cards from, like, 5 years ago and 10 years ago and look at the stuff people created back then and compare it to stuff now. Because there's probably ideas people came up with years ago that in the comments people were like, oh, that's broken, that's crazy. And there's probably cards worse in the game now. Yeah, I don't know, let me make a note of that. That's a good idea. Give me a sec here. All right, I'm glad that was a good train of thought there. Kissy says, but doing nothing on turn 3, it's so slow for Demon Hunter. You're not wrong there. Also, Zenny will send them on Discord when I get home. Perfect. I'm looking forward to checking those out too. And then we got Deep Sea Sharkfin, 4 mana, 5/3 Shaman, Rush, Battlecry, freeze a character. Oh, and it's a Murloc. Once again, simple, clean design. I feel like it's fine. You know, you compare it to, what's it called? The Excavate Rush guy. 1 mana less, but less health. Also, the Battle Cry is probably not as strong as Excavating. Yeah, I think it's fine. Illidari Warder, 7 mana, 7/7, Demon Hunter, Taunt, Rush, costs 1 less for each friendly minion that died this turn. That, you know, that's a mechanic for Demon Hunter they've never really expanded on. What could I look? Like we got Feast of Souls, you know, you drew for that. We got this guy you caught. You got a giant that cost less for minions that died. There's also this guy, gain +1/+1 for each minion that died this turn. There's also, what's it called? Such a shitty card. I think it's 5 or 6 mana. The one that gets +1/+1 every time something dies. But it has, oh yeah, this guy, Blood Herald. 5 mana, 1/1. Whenever a friendly minion dies while this is in your hand, gain +1/+1. Basically infuse 1, get +1/+1. This card is so shit though. But I feel like Demon Hunter has a lot of cards that kind of went in that direction, you know, of like little guys dying and making the cards better. So I feel like this card fits very much in that theme. But like I said, they haven't really expanded on it too much. Oh, I like Death Knight cards. I have to say, whenever I do like my custom Hearthstone videos, I feel like the Death Knight cards are the coolest ones. And I think it's because Death Knight, you know, relative to the other classes, hasn't been out very long. So I feel like there's so much more to like explore with Death Knight versus the other classes, right? The other classes have been getting custom cards for 10 years now. Death Knight's only been getting custom cards for a year now. So it's just like a lot more fresh ideas. But we got Kotira, Deathweaver, 4 mana, 3/3, 2 blood, legendary Death Knight minion. Taunt, Reborn, Lifesteal, Death Rattle, deal damage equal to this minion's attack to a random enemy minion. That's kind of cool because this is basically like a blood version of Thorison. What is he, 3 mana? Is he not 3 mana? 4 mana? Yeah. So yeah, Thorison, basically Reborn, and then Battlecry, Death. Like, you know, it's like he shoots random guys. Oh, that was the goal. Nice. Yeah. So Thorison, 3 mana or 4 mana, 3/3, Reborn, deals damage when it dies and battle cries. This one is similar, but it's based on the attack, and it also has lifesteal. This kind of feels like a mashup of Thorison and what's it called? It's a newer card. This one's 3 mana, I think. It's a Quillbore. Yeah, this guy. Yeah, this kind of feels like a mashup of Thorison and Ballhog. Which I think Ballhog's kind of like underrated. I think it's a cool card. And I love Blood Death Knight so much. Oh, Kissy says this one and Thorison are brothers in arms and lore. That's cool. So it gets a flavor win too. Any more Death Knight? Manaroth, the Destructor, 7 mana 4/6, Warrior, Demon Hunter, Legendary Minion. Cleave, Rush, Death Rattle, deal 3 damage to all characters. Gain 5 armor, shuffle 3 Demonic Bloods into your deck. I'm guessing there's like a typo here. I'm guessing this is supposed to be the Demonic Bloods. Give your hero +3 attack this turn, gave 5 armor. Oh, when you draw all 3, it summons them again? That's cool. The card does a lot. But yeah, I'll have to check out some more of these. Oh, okay, Death Knight. We'll do one. We'll do one more. I'll have to check out some more of these because there is a lot. But yeah, I just like how simple and clean these are. Sandland? Sandland, Queen Lanethel. 6 mana, 4/7, 2 blood, legendary Death Knight minion. Rush lifesteal. Whenever this minion deals damage, gain that much health. Yeah, see, I've talked about it so many times, but I really wish they would expand on Blood Death Knight and the whole like health manipulation aspect of it. You know, Blood Death Knight has only gotten really 1 or 2 cards since release. I think out of the 3 runes, Blood is definitely the one that's kind of suffered the most and has got the least since Death Knight released. So I'm always hoping for, you know, cool new Blood cards. I don't know why Blizzard doesn't like Blood. I think it's because they're kind of they kind of shy away from like control decks for the most part nowadays. Like, they obviously favor like aggro and combo decks, and maybe they're scared of Blood control being too strong again. Or I wasn't even say it was ever like strong. It was very prevalent. And I don't know. Control decks have like a bad player sentiment, and Blizzard isn't too happy when like control decks are like the tier 1 decks, right? So I think that's why they shy away from Blood. But it's too bad because I think Blood is the coolest rune by far, and there's just so much potential there. I have more Death Knight cards, but they're at the bottom. All right, let's take a look. I think Death Knight is like the most interesting to me too, for the same reasons I mentioned. There's just so much design space still. Ooh, more blood cards. 5 mana, 2/6, 2 blood, Bloodlord. Taunt, Lifesteal, Battlecry, discover a blood rune card. Simple, fair. Although I feel like based on the current rune requirements, this would probably just be like a single blood. I feel like 2 blood is a lot. I don't know. Blood Prince, 5 mana, 3/3, 2 blood, Lifesteal, Taunt, Battlefry, gain 5 health, spend 5 corpses to give your hero 5 health. See, this is what I was talking about. This is exactly what I was talking about, that the whole like health manipulation aspect. Yeah. But Bloodlord can discover vampiric blood. But you can't discover triple rune cards anymore, I thought. Am I wrong in that regard? Didn't they change it? Oh, but this one could. Okay. If this had like a specific like stipulation where it could discover vampiric blood, all right, that's different for sure. But yeah, the health manipulation aspect, I love it so much in Blood. 1 frost, 1 blood, 3 mana, 2/2, taunt, lifesteal, death rattle, draw a card. Nice and simple. I think there should be more incentive to run multi-rune outside of just like Rainbow. Like I wish there was more incentive to run like a 2-in-1 deck. So like 2 blood, 1 frost, 2 unholy, 1 blood, whatever. I wish there was more of an incentive to run those combos versus just triple or rainbow. Do we got any others here? Oh, triple rune spell. Triple blood, 3 mana, Rune of Blood Draining. Give your weapon lifesteal and death rattle. Gain health equal to all minions' health killed with it. That's cool. It's like a blood version of... What's the weapon called? Frostmourne? Was it 7 mana? Come on, deck tracker. Isn't it 7 mana? Void says 2 Unholy Frost. That's your favorite combo. Is it my favorite combo? How many mana is Frostmourne? 6? Oh, okay. So yeah, it's kind of like a blood version of Frostmourne. That's cool. All right. Let's see. Oh, got a neutral here. Is this the only neutral? Whelp Tender, 2 mana, 1/3. At the end of your turn, get a random whelp. Again, simple, clean card. Yeah, like I said, I like custom cards like this a lot. Very, very simple, clean ones that you could just like envision in the game, you know? It's too bad there is no like custom games in Hearthstone or any ways to like import custom cards and stuff like that. That would have been really neat. Oh, Void's 2 Unholy, 1 Frost is what the cockroaches run. Oh, okay. I get you now. All right. So I'll be doing a tier list for all of the Colossal minions. You know, it's came about with doing the Titan tier list just because they're very similar mechanics. You know, it's a mechanic that it's one card that feels like very, very strong, right? The Titan was kind of like this larger, like the Titans are almost like these like raid boss cards, right? Where you had to get rid of them or they kind of just ran away with the game or got so much value. And the Colossal minions, you know, they were these 1 minions, but they got you multiple bodies. It just felt like they had a big impact. So I feel like the two were very, very similar keywords and both very, very good keywords. And they were similar in the sense that every class got one and they were generally well received. You know, definitely some of the coolest cycles they've done in the last couple years. So each, let me open the wiki for this actually, because there's a lot to show for each of them. So, all Are these in order? They're not. All right, so first up... All right, so first up, we have Zillag the Abyss. Sorry, Zillag of the Abyss. It is the Death Knight. It is the Demon Hunter one. It's 7 mana, 3/6. Actually, before I get into it further, right? For anyone who doesn't know what this means, so the Colossal minions all have Colossal plus then a number. And basically, the number is how many extra minions they spawn when you play them. So this guy has Colossal 4, and he spawns these 4 minions when he comes in. So he spawns 2 on each side, and they have an effect. And it's really cool, actually. You know, the art for these cards, you know, they take into effect, like, the appendages, right? So you can see, you know, we got the middle part here, and then he spawns all the arms. So it was really cool effect. You know, we got Krakatoa, right? Who is a crab. He spawned these 2 claws, like, to make the whole art. I think that's a big reason that they felt so good, too. Is just... they really nailed that feeling of the extra minions being like a part of the main minion. And I feel like this could have been such a miss. Like taking the art and splitting it up into 3 or however many was so smart. And it wasn't always like left and right. You know, yes, Krakatoa and Zillag, they were left and right, so it was in the middle. But then you had, say, Glug, right? Glug spawned them all to one side. Yeah, such a cool design. Like the execution in regards to like the art and stuff, it enhanced like the theme and the mechanics so much, I think. So, anyways, we got Zillag the Abyss, 7 mana, 3/6, legendary Demon Hunter, Colossal 4. At the start of your turn, increase the damage of Zillagg's stocks by 1. So what the stocks do is at the end of your turn, they shoot a random enemy for 2. So basically you play this, you get the 4, each of them shoots something for 2, and then by some chance, you know, if Zillag lives into your next turn, he will buff them up by 1. So any alive at the end of that turn will then shoot for 3. So pretty cool effect. In terms of tier listing it though, I feel like it's no higher than a B. It might even be lower. Kissy, they were also in theme of the deep sea, underwater, bigot monsters. Oh, for sure. Like, I feel like Sunken City, the theme and the mechanics, like it all meshed together so well. Like Dredge was such a good mechanic and it fit the theme so well. You know, yeah. Sunken City, I'm gonna have to tier list all of the expansions at some point, but Sunken City just nailed it in so many aspects. Like the theme, the mechanics, like just the execution of it all. Yeah, very, very good set. Zach says, Krakatoa is one of my favorites thematically. That and Tidecaller smacking people. Oh, yeah, Neptulon. Yeah, we'll get to Neptulon. But is Zillag a B or is it a C? So there was a Demon Hunter deck at one point that like cheat out copies of it. Like, let me see. There was a card. It said like summon, because basically one thing to keep in mind with Colossal minions too, right, is if you cheated them out, so if you either summoned it from your hand or from your deck without playing it, it would still spawn the appendages. So it's not like, you know, like say someone dirty ratted out a Colossal minion, it would then spawn the extra appendages. You couldn't get around that. So there were some decks and some classes that would cheat them out, right, because it didn't actually hurt it in any way. And because this is a demon, right? Yeah, this is a demon. There was some card that lets you cheat out a demon. Oh yeah, this. Like you could play this and it would turn into a copy of Zillag, spawn the appendages. Void remembers Zillag being played a lot. Would have thought A. Man, this is a tough one. Especially in like Spell Demon Hunter, Relic Demon Hunter. It was played a lot, but was it that impactful? Like, was it impactful? I'm probably going to rate these similar to the Titans, where S were basically like game-winning cards in a vacuum, right? A's were very, very good, but needed a little bit more support. And then B's were just like decent or kind of niche. Maybe by that logic, it is an A. Because it was very, very strong, right? And if you just left it alive, it just could run away with the game. I don't think it's S tier, but maybe it is A. I feel like I could compromise on that. Void, I saw a lot of play in those slower archetypes though through the Year of the Hydra. Yeah, maybe it is an A. I don't think it's S, but yeah, we'll go with that. Maybe we'll change it at some point once we go through some more, but I'll go with A. And then next up, we have Frost Queen Syndragosa, which kind of a cool thing here. This card didn't come out with Voyage in the Sunken City. This card came out in the mini set for, what's it called? March the Lich King. Yeah, so this card came out in the mini set for March the Lich King. So it was kind of similar to what I talked about earlier, how, you know, the Spellstone cycle, when they brought it back, they actually completed it with Demon Hunter and Death Knight. So the fact that when Sunken City came out, Death Knight wasn't out, to my knowledge. Let me see. I'm assuming so, because there's no Colossal minion, right? Where is it? Yeah. So when Sunken City came out, there was no Death Knight. So a couple sets later, once Death Knight was out, they actually came out with a Colossal minion, which I thought was really cool to go back and kind of complete the cycle. And with it, we got Frost Queen Syndragosa, 7 mana, 6/6, Colossal 2. And it says after an enemy minion is frozen, destroy it. And the 2 Colossal minions you would get were 2/1s with Rush, and they would freeze any character that got damaged. So in essence, what you would do is pay 7 mana, destroy 2 minions, and get a 6/6. And there's potential other synergy too, right? If you had Syndragosa out and you had some other way to freeze something. Also, one thing to keep in mind that it was actually changed a little bit. When it first released, is there a picture here? Yeah. So when this card first released, it also had 1 blood rune. So it was originally 1 frost, 1 blood, and then they changed it at what point? Oh, 7 months later. They changed it 7 months later to take out the blood rune, so it's only 1 frost rune now. Kissy, I was so disappointed when they showed Syndragosa instead of Sapphiron, or giving Death Knight a proper undead fish Colossal. Void, I love Cindy's design, but she got condemned about being a cross rune even before Rainbow was playable. Even when she got buffed to just Frost, she was power crept. Yeah, that was definitely part of the problem, right? At the time Syndragosa got released, it had 1 blood, 1 frost, but at that point, with Death Knight, you really only ran triple rune decks. So people were either playing triple frost, triple blood. There wasn't really rainbow decks, so no one was running Syndragosa. I feel like the only time you saw Syndragosa was when it got like discovered or randomly generated in some way. You know, and then as you mentioned, Void, once they removed the blood, it just kind of wasn't good enough. So it is a cool card. I don't think it's bad. You know, there's been times I randomly generated or discovered it, and it was really, really good. Because like I said, kind of worst case scenario, right? You pay 7 mana to destroy 2 minions and get a 6/6. Yeah. I feel like B. It's not bad. Not great. Didn't really run it in your deck. But the biggest problem was the rune restriction I mentioned there. Void, you'd see it most off of Ashara. That is true, actually. That's probably how I saw it most, yeah. Getting it off of the horn from Queen Ashara. Which, like I said, if I got this off of the horn from Queen Ashara, I was fine with that. I feel like there's probably some Colossals here I would be less happy to get. So B, I think, is fair. And then next up we got Kolak. the Druid Colossal, 7 mana, 6/5, Colossal 1, immune while you control Kolak Shell, and then the Shell is a 0/8 with Taunt and Death Rattle, gain 8 armor. I think before I even talk about it further, I think it's just a C. Or is it even a D? This is one of the worst Colossals, I think. And, you know, it's funny, we just talked about this card yesterday, and someone suggested if it had Rush, and I agree. If it had Rush, this card would be so much better, because most of the time, you're playing this card, and then you pass to your opponent, they destroy the shell, and then next turn it comes back to you, and you never got to use the immune effect, right? I feel like the entire time this card was in Standard, I probably got to attack with it being immune like once or twice. So if it had Rush, it makes sense, right? You could rush and kill something with the immune. I feel like when you compare it to the other Colossals, that wouldn't really be that strong. You know, a lot of these other Colossals, you play them and they kill something right away. You know, Blackwater Behemoth, Krakatoa, Syndragosa, Leviathan, Hydralodon, Zillag maybe. Like, most of these kill something when you play them, right? I feel like would it really have been that bad to just give this Rush? It's only 6 attack too. It's not even like I could trade into everything, right? Yeah, this one was doo-doo. It's too bad. Rush would have been a cool addition. Kissy says Kolak is the worst Colossal. Void says it's a D. It is the worst one. Even Ozymat saw some niche play, but this thing never did. Yeah. I think the only... kind of similar to Syndragosa, but at least Syndragosa was okay. I feel like the only time I ever saw or played this card was when it was generated from Queen Ashara. And this is one of the ones that when you popped the horn from Ashara and you got this card, you're just like, oh, you know? It was essentially just a 7 mana, 6/5, gain 8 armor. Which, again, when you compare it to some of the other Colossals, that's so bad. So I do think it's D. I do think it's D. I think it's even worse than C. Yeah. Too bad. Because almost every other Colossal, like, we'll get to it. Ozymat, also not that great. But pretty much every other class Colossal was good. I feel like Kolak was maybe the only bad class Colossal. Which is kind of funny because Druid is like historically very strong and broken. So the fact that they got the worst Colossal is kind of funny. Kind of fitting in a way. But next up is Hydralodon. It is the Hunter Colossal. 7 mana, 5/5, Colossal 2. Battlecry, give your Hydralodon heads Rush. So it would summon 2 3/1s that when they die, if you control... when they die, if you control Hydralodon, you summon 2 more heads. So this one was interesting because if you cheated it out, yes, it would still spawn the 2 heads, but they wouldn't have Rush because the Rush was part of the battle cry. So that very much like balanced this card out a bit. And then obviously only the first 2 would have Rush, right? So they would attack something, they would spawn 2 more, but those ones wouldn't have Rush. So essentially what this was a 5/5, deal 3 damage twice, and summon a bunch of 3/1s. And then, yeah, the next turn, if Hydralodon was still alive, you could make a bunch of free trades. More often than not, it wasn't alive still, but those times it was alive still, you'd get so much value off this card. Or there's times, you know, where your opponent does like some damage-based AoE, right? Say they play like Holy Nova or Defile or something like that. It just, it doesn't work, right? It just keeps spawning the heads back. In terms of tier listing it, though, it's just a B. You know, Hunters ran it. It wasn't a bad card. It wasn't amazing. It was kind of similar to Syndragosa in that you played it, and it had like some immediate effect, right? Removed some threats. And then it also had a continuous effect if you didn't get rid of it. By that logic, I'm almost thinking of dropping... Nah. This one's very similar to these two, but I think it is a little better. What do you guys think? Kissy says A tier in every hunter deck. Hydra was played so much. We got Hydrolodon, Bunny Stomper for 1 expansion. Drago, Azumat, not too bad. It played in Big Druid and played with Wild Shaman. Is this A tier? Maybe it is. You're definitely right, Kissy. It basically went in every single hunter deck, right? And I guess it's very similar to Zillag. Both of these you played, they kind of did a little bit of immediate damage. And then if you didn't deal with them the next turn, they just kept doing more damage, right? Actually, I think you swayed me. Maybe it's because I'm not, you know, I'm still learning the ways of the hunter. Maybe it is an A. There's definitely times I lost to this card. I feel like between these two cards, I lost more times to Hydrolodon than to Zillag. Hey, Magic. How's it going? Drago also says Hydrolodon is good. I think it's an A. Plan Hydrolodon was played in nearly every hunter deck when it was in standard. Yeah, I think A is fitting, actually. Because same with Zillag, right? Both of these were pretty much played in every deck in their class. When you played them, they had an immediate impact, like a small immediate impact, but then they just would kind of snowball if you didn't deal with them. Sindragosa had an immediate impact, but didn't do a whole lot after that, and the Ruin restriction was kind of tough, but I still don't think it's bad. Kolak is just bad. So yeah, I agree. A tier for Hydrolodon. And then next up for Mage, we have Gaia the Tectonic. It is an 8-mana 5/7 Colossal 2. After a friendly minion attacks, deal 1 damage to all enemies, and it would spawn 2 2/3s with Rush. So, absolute worst case scenario, on an empty board, you would summon the 2 2/3s. They would attack essentially for 2 damage, and then a 1 damage AoE. So, you would get 2 damage on an AoE, and then 4 damage to minions. Is this a B? I feel like this card was good in Mech Mage, but not very good outside of that. You know, Zillag and Hydrolodon, you pretty much ran in every single Demon Hunter or Hunter deck, but I feel like you wouldn't run this in every Mage deck. You'd run it in Mech Mage, where it was very good. But outside of that, I feel like I didn't really see play. Drago says B. Void says C. Mech Mage was too aggressive to want to top out at 8. And other Mage decks didn't really run it. Magic says Gaia was pretty good and Mech Mage was strong with the 3-drop that did random damage to enemies. Not too good, but it was played in Mech Mage. But once that fell out of meta, it never saw play. Kind of like the Rogue Titan. Yeah, you're right. I just feel like if I drop this down to C, then Syndra Ghost is also a C. Which maybe it is. But kind of looking at the list here, I feel like by that logic, there's gonna be no Bs. Yeah, I think I like these both as B. They were kind of like niche, right? Yeah, I think I just stay with B maybe. I might change my mind. But so far we got these two. They basically went in every deck. Just generally good. These were more niche cards, but still not bad. And then we got Bad Doo-Doo down there. I think Syndra Ghost is better than Gaia. Yeah, it's a tough one. Like, I feel like Syndra Ghost is very much a B. And I don't think this is a C. We'll see. I think this is where I'm at for now. But things might shift. We'll see as we go. Magic, I think B is fair. Not very versatile, but still strong in some decks. Also, I keep going back to like Queen Ashara, right? Because Queen Ashara was played in like most decks. Queen Ashara was a very popular legendary where you could discover a random Colossal. And I feel like in that regard, both of these were like decent picks off the horn. Yeah. I think I'll stay with B for now. B minus. B minus is a good way to put it, Magic. So next up we have Next up, we have the Leviathan. It is the Paladin Colossal, 7 mana, 4/5, Colossal 1, Rush Divine Shield. After this attacks, Dredge. And then the one it spawns is the 4/2, Rush Divine Shield. After this attacks, draw a card. Is this the first S tier? At the very least, it's A. It was run in every Paladin deck. It was so good. Got you so much value. You know, it replaced itself, it dredged, it eliminated like one big threat or two medium to small threats. With any kind of buffs from Paladin, it was even better. Dragu says it's an A. Void says it's an S. Kissy says Leviathan's so annoying. Magic, Leviathan was my favorite Colossal. Not too strong, but always felt good to play. Yeah, I definitely don't think... I don't think any of these were, like, overpowered, so to say. But I feel like if I had to pick, like, a top 3, like, pick some of the strongest ones, I think Leviathan is definitely up there. Dragu, it's an S. Zek says Scry 3, draw 1. Like, especially Dredge was a very relevant mechanic, right? Because there was lots of cards during Voyage that put things in the bottom of your deck. Paladin specifically had some cards they played that put things in the bottom of their deck. So there were some very nice Paladin cards to dredge up. So yeah, you have the card selection of Dredge. You have it replace itself. You have the immediate impact of the Rush. You have the Divine Shield protecting it. I think it's S tier. Very strong card. Like, this was very much one of the, like, those, like, comeback cards. Which you can kind of say that about Hydrolodon too, but I think this one was just better. Plan says premium draw plus destroying minions. 2 great effects in 1 card, easy S. Dragu played in pure mech and now in Highlander. Yeah, it was played every single Paladin deck. Like, imagine too with like, I feel like this would still be played if it was standard legal. Yeah, very good card. I think I'm happy with us there. Next up, we have Blackwater Behemoth, the Priest Colossal. 7 mana, 8/10, Colossal 1 with Lifesteal, and it spawns a 1/4 that at the end of your turn, it forces a random enemy to attack the Blackwater Behemoth, an enemy minion. So what this is doing is, more often than not, it's basically, you know, healing 10 and removing a threat. Depending on like the board and the situation, potentially like a really big threat. I'm wondering if this is also an S. I feel like I've played so many Priest games where this card just carried. Like, there's so many times I drop this card on 7 and it just saves me and keeps me in the game. Like, very often this card was like a, you know, restore 16 life, kill multiple things. And against like aggro decks and stuff like that, I feel like this would just get me back in the game. Obviously, too, there was the, like, between, you know, like, creation protocol and different things you could, like, or power chord synchronize, you could play and copy this thing multiple times. Magic, Blackwater Behemoth felt decent in questline pre's. Good way to get some health back. Dragu says, I think A, played in many decks, but now it's not too good. Clan wasn't too good when it released, but once it was buffed, it was pretty good. Great in Control, Highlander, and Questline. But when it was 8, it didn't see play much. Was it originally 8? Oh, I don't even remember that. They buffed it up pretty quick. It was only a month that it was at 7. Actually, I didn't even really think about that. Were any of these other ones nerfed or changed at all? What have we looked at so far? Zillag, Hydrolodon. That had the rune change. Olok. Were any others changed? I didn't even think about that. Hydrolodon, no. Zillag, no. Sindragosa had the rune change. Gaia, no. Kolok, unfortunately, no. Oh, and the Leviathan, no as well. Okay, I do not remember this costing 8 and being changed, but I guess it was a very brief period in time, right? It was only a month. Yeah, I don't know. I think to me it's S tier. I think this saved me in so many games. Yeah. There, like I said, there's so many aggro games where I dropped this on 7 and it was just game over. So yeah, I like it a lot. Hey JRF, how's it going? Oh yeah, apart from Behemoth, Nelly was nerfed. Oh yeah, I forgot Nelly was also nerfed. That was a big nerf too. So yeah, I think S tier. Happy with that one. Next up, we go on to Krakatoa, the Rogue Colossal. 6 mana, 6/5, Colossal 2. Your Krakatoa claws have +2 attack. So what it would do, it would spawn 2 2/1s with Rush, that when they died, you summoned a 2/1 claw. So one really cool aspect, right, is that this buff, it would buff these by 2, but also the weapon. So usually what you would do, so these would essentially be 4/1s. So what you would do is attack into something, get the weapon, attack something, attack with the other claw. So essentially for 6 mana, you would deal 12 damage, spread across potentially 3 targets, and then have a 4/1 weapon and a 6/5. I feel like this one's also S tier. There's also the fact that, it's rogue, right? That it could be bounced with breakdance, shadow step. There's many times I've played this multiple times with rogue. Very, very strong. Like I said, more often than not, drop this for 6, basically kill 3 things, and then have a 4/1 weapon and a 6/5 minion on the board for 6 mana. Rav felt like a weaker cousin of the Hunter Colossal for me. Really? Cheapest Colossal plus extremely versatile. Played in every deck until rotation. Easy S. Dragu also says S. Yeah, I feel like these 3, at least to me, we're not necessarily like game winning, but they're very, very, very strong. Like, I feel like obviously in a vacuum, the Titans are stronger. There's certain Titans, if you leave on the board, they just win you the game. I don't think, outside of like Neptulon, I don't think any of the Colossals really feel that way, which is a good thing, right? It's one thing for a card to be strong. It's another thing for it to be like game warping or broken. So I think they hit a good power level on some of these. Although comparing these to Kolok is just ridiculous. But yeah, these 3, very, very strong, very like influential to the game. And Hydralodon as well, but I don't know. Maybe it's just 'cause I'm not a Hunter player. I don't think it quite reaches S tier for me. Maybe it's the fact that it was 7. It was kind of funny comparing Krakatoa to Hydralodon. I feel like Hydralodon could have been 6 mana. They're very, very comparable, and Krakatoa was 6. I feel like if this was 6, I'd be S tier as well. Magic, I'm not very good at the game, so my judgment probably isn't the best. Hey, neither am I here. We're not pro players or anything. So don't worry, we can be all shit together. But yeah, I think that's where I'm at so far. What about you guys? Anything you guys think I'm super wrong with? Anything you'd change? I know some people said Hydralodon higher, some people said Gaia lower. Make it till you make it. That is right, JRF. But next up, we have Glug, the Gulper. It's the Shaman Colossal. 7 mana, 3/5, Colossal 3. After a friendly minion dies, gain its original stats, and it summon 3 2/2s with Taunt. I think this one just C. Unless someone wants to make an argument for it. I don't think it's Kolok bad, but it's not great. Obviously, there was like the rare situation where this card could just get out of hand. If you didn't have like hard removal, it could run away with the game. But I feel like hard removal is so common in the game nowadays that was very, very rare to happen. So kind of not great, but I don't think it's Kolok bad. Anyone want to argue for Glug? I think the art and the animation were amazing for this card, though. Especially because, like I said, most of the Colossal, it spawns things on either side of it. And then Glug was all to one side, and I don't know. And it looks like one of those creepy deep sea fish. So theme and art were on point for sure. Magic, when I played aggro, my opponent's Glug felt like an impenetrable wall. And when I played control, I never cared about opponent's Glug. That's a good way to put it. Maybe it's because I'm a control player, right? So like 99% of the time this card got played, I would just play a removal on Glug, and then who cares? They have a bunch of 2/2s. Clan, Glug was very awkward to me, never really fit the Shaman theme. That's true too, right? It very much doesn't vibe with Shaman. I feel like a lot of these other ones kind of fit the class pretty well, but that's right. Doesn't really scream. Like if you showed this card to me, right, without the class border, and you said what class would this go in, I wouldn't say Shaman. Dragu, Glug doesn't see play in Standard, but it's in Wild. I think a B. Glug basically wins versus any board-based deck, but who's playing those? Glug feels like one of those cards. Like Glug's like an arena card to me. Glug is probably insane in Arena, but in Constructed, hard removal is just so common that, it, like I said, you play Glug, you get Glug removed, and you get some 2/2s. That's what it felt like 90% of the time. Like, Glug is one of those ones that whenever I played, again, when I played Queen Ashara, if I got Glug, I wasn't too happy. Kolok was worse, but yeah, Glug never felt good. Side note, I love the art and flavor of the Colossals. Oh, 100%. I touched on that a little earlier, but the fact that they incorporated the art into all of the cards was like so smart. Because again, you got Krabatoa, right? So you had the kind of like the main crab, and then the other two minions that spawned were the claws that they made up the whole art. So smart. Like, it really made it feel like one big minion spread across multiple minions. And Glug's a good example of that too, right? You had the head, then it would spawn the other parts of it. Yeah, the art and the theme on these was amazing. I really hope that one day they come back with this mechanic. I know it's a big ask considering they never reuse keywords, but I feel like Colossal and Titans, I feel like are such like just unique and influential keywords they should bring back. I doubt they will, but I wish, because it's such a cool one. I would have guessed that Warrior was I would have guessed that Glug was a Warrior card. Yeah, Warrior, or even like a Hunter card, maybe? Or even like a Paladin card? Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't scream Shaman to me. So I think it's a C. It's not Kolok bad. It's worse than these ones. Yeah, C. Zillag is the biggest though on art. Yeah, when I made the thumbnail, yeah, Zillag's art is huge because it summons, it's 5 minions total, right? So you can see here how wide it is. Yeah, when I made the thumbnail for this, Zillag's was very big. But yeah, some of the best art they've done in a long time, I think. Tinda, they never reuse keywords. Outside of some very rare circumstances, they don't. Which is too bad because, you know, if I don't know about other card games, but say like Magic, right? Magic is constantly reusing keywords. Most expansions, they might have like 1 or maybe 2 new keywords, but they also bring back old keywords. Especially Magic, for sets, they like to like revisit previous themes, and whenever they revisit a previous theme, they also bring back that theme's keywords. So yeah, Magic is constantly reusing keywords. Hearthstone never does that. I don't know about like Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh or stuff if they do or not, but I think the reason Hearthstone doesn't do it is they think your average player will think it's like lazy. You know, like, oh, they can't come up with new ideas, so they reuse old keywords. But, like, it's not a bad thing. Like, there's so many cool keywords I wish they'd bring back. But they just don't. So it's definitely a bummer. Boyd says I could see Colossal going evergreen. They're fan favorites. I wish. I am really hoping that happens because yeah, Colossal is such a cool mechanic. Magic, I really love this expansion. Dredge was such a cool mechanic, so well balanced, and the overall theme. Yeah, I mentioned it earlier, right? But Voyage of the Sunken City was like a home run. The mechanics and the theme of the set intertwined so well together, and it was just so well executed. Dredge was a great keyword, as you mentioned. I'm a Magic player. Dredge is very similar to some Magic keywords, which I like a lot. So yeah, it was a home run for me, for sure. Tend to kind of think of it, Rush is the only one that comes to mind. Yeah, so Rush is what's considered an evergreen keyword, which evergreen keywords are ones that can come back whenever. So Taunt, Elusive, Rush, Charge, whatever. Tradable is the most recent example. So every once in a while, there will be a keyword that is a hit, and they will make it evergreen. So Dormant is an example. Dormant started off as an expansion keyword, but eventually it can go anywhere. Tradable is the most recent example. Tradable was an expansion keyword, and then they made it evergreen. But actually, like Magic said, a lot of people don't know this, but Discover was also an expansion keyword. So Discover launched, I forget what expansion it was. It was one of the early ones, obviously. But Discover was an expansion keyword, and it did so well, they basically incorporated it into the entire game. I think it's one of the downfalls of Hearthstone, but that's another discussion. But yeah, Discover started off as an expansion keyword. Clan, I'd understand if they would never brought Colossal back, but I'd love to see Dredge again. Yeah, Dredge feels like it could be an evergreen mechanic for sure. Oh yeah, Rush. Yeah, Rush as well. So yeah, sometimes they do turn keywords evergreen. Rush, Tradable, Discover, Dormant, but it's kind of rare. Zek says Colossal is one of my favorites, and I only played it in Standard during the last set before rotation, sadly. That's too bad. Yeah, they were fun cards. Tradable was in Stormwinds. I hope they make Dredge evergreen. I agree. So next up, though, to keep things going, we have Gigafin, the Warlock Colossal. It was an 8-mana 7/4 Colossal 1 with Battlecry devour all enemy minions, and then Death Rattle spit them back out. And it spawned a 4/7 taunt that when it died, it permanently destroyed all minions inside of Gigafin. So how this worked, basically you play it, it sucks up your opponent's board, and then you spawn the 4/7 taunt. So if this died first, it spit back the minions out. If this died first, they were just gone forever. So cool design, because obviously you wanted to kill Gigafin first. It has less health, it's easier to kill, but it would be behind the 4/7 taunt. Yeah, very, very cool card. And this is a card, I think it's an A, or is it an S? This was played in every Warlock deck pretty much. The time it was in Standard. Is it an A or an S? JRF, how do we submit viewer decks for later? You can just go ahead and post them in the chat. Yep. Between streams, you guys can post them on like Discord if you want, but whenever I do viewer deck streams, you can just post them in the chat. That works. Zek, they should just put a few random keywords in the neutral sections of expansions. They don't have to do too many and balance the classes. Like imagine one Colossal minion, but it's neutral. That would be cool. Or a few Dredge, but it's also neutral. I feel like Colossal would work like quests showing up every so often. Hopefully. Gigafin was great in some situations, but the only one with the downside. I've seen Warlocks deliberately destroy the main body. I played Control Warlock, and Gigafin felt more like a stall than removal to me. If my opponent hadn't killed me by turn 8, they probably had a way to kill the Colossal and bring the minions back. That's probably why, yeah, it's an A. I don't think it's S tier. I don't think it's B. I don't think it's on the same level of these guys. Yes, you're right that I feel like more often than not, this card was just a stall card, right? But that's sometimes all you needed. If you could stall things for a turn or two and help you stabilize, that was all you needed sometimes. Like, I don't know. I feel like this card did a lot of work for me. Also, it was always funny getting this card in Rogue. You know, say you generated this card off of Queen Ashara, because obviously as a Rogue, you sometimes played Queen Ashara multiple times. What you could do as a Rogue is you'd play Gigafin and then either Shadow Step or Break Dance the main body, so they just couldn't get their minions back. That was always fun. I did that a lot, actually, I remember. Yeah, I don't know. I think, so Shock says Gigafin's S tier. I feel like if it didn't have the downside, it probably would be S tier. I think if Gigafin just said devour all enemy minions and it spawned like the taunt, it'd definitely be S tier. I don't know. And elegant too. I agree. The design on Gigafin is great. Like I said, the fact that you want to kill Gigafin to get your minions back, and it's the easier one to kill, but it spawns a taunt to protect it. Very cool design. I'm still leaning towards A, I think. This card depends a lot on playstyle. Some people love it, some hate it. Getting this in Rogue felt so good because Rogue lacks board clears. That too, right? Whenever I discovered this card with Rogue, it was so, so good. The art on Gigafin is disgusting, though. You know what's funny? I'd never seen the full art of this until I did the thumbnail. It's not... I don't know why. I always thought... I don't know. It looks like two bodies, right? On the cards. When you see the art. Yeah. I think it's A tier, though. As much as I love this card, I played this card a shit ton. I really liked it. I don't know if it's quite S tier. Just because there was times, right? There'd be times you'd play this, kind of similar to Glug. There'd be times you'd play this, and then it passes to your opponent, and they just shoot Gigafin with something and get their board back. But it's not bad. I think it's still an A. But yeah, I do miss that card. And then next up, we have Nelly, the Great Thresher, the Warrior Colossal, 7 mana, 5/5 Colossal 1. Discover 3 pirates to crew Nelly's ship. And then the ship is a 2/6 taunt, which when it dies, you get the 3 cards you picked to your hand. They cost 1 less. And there's kind of an asterisk here because this card was nerfed. So, oh, it's not listed here. Oh, wait. Oh, did they revert the nerf? Let me look. I think they did revert the nerf, didn't they? Oh, they did. When did that happen? Okay, so basically to explain it, right? When Nelly launched originally, it said this. Basically, you picked 3 pirates. When the pirate ship died, you got them to your hand and they cost 1. And at the time, Mr. Smite was in Standard. So if anyone doesn't remember Mr. Smite... Mr. Smite was your Pirates of Charge. So you would get a 1 mana 6/5 charge that would give the other 2 pirates charge. And it just resulted in potentially a shit ton of damage. And so what they did, I don't know why it's not listed here, but what they did was they changed Nelly to the cards you got. I believe they cost 2 less, or they cost 1 less. Does anyone know? Clan, the artwork's gonna give me nightmares. Nelly was very good because of the synergy with Warrior's Pirate questline. Once it was nerfed and the questline was rotated in Festival, this never saw play. S for pre-nerf, D for post-nerf. Iron Nelly plus Pirate questline, Dark Times. It was reverted on rotation. Oh, okay. Nerf was rotated by Whizbang. They did it with a lot of other cards. Does anyone remember when it got nerfed? Did it reduce the cost by 1 or 2? I don't know why it's not listed here. Because I believe that was the change they did. It said, add Nelly's pirate crew to your hand. They cost 1 less. Or 2 less, or whatever it was. But I kind of agree. I think pre-nerf, this was S tier. This was one of the best Colossals. It was played, like, not even just in, like, Pirate Warrior. It was played in Control Warrior as well, just because, you know, it essentially generated you 3 cards, and especially with Mr. Like, you were always hoping to discover Smite, right? You discovered Smite, it was a lot of burst damage. But then, yeah, after it was nerfed, I feel like it was like C? I don't think it was Kolok bad. I think it evens out to a B. If I try to balance out like pre-nerf, post-nerf, just a B maybe? But yeah, this was before the nerf in like the top 3 Colossals, I think. The big one, like I said, was Smite. Like, it was very easy to get, you know, like a 3 mana Pyroblast or more off of Nelly. What do you guys think? I think, like I said, I think it balances out to like a B. Pre-nerf was S. I think post-nerf was like C. I don't think it was D bad. So yeah, maybe a B with an asterisk. It was a fun card though. I'm pretty sure, let me check. I'm pretty sure I disenchanted it when I got nerfed, and I don't have it anymore. Ah, come on. We restart the game. Plan, the original said that the pirates would cost 1. Post-nerf was 1 less. Okay. Okay, so yeah, that was a huge nerf, actually. I remember when that nerf hit, that card dropped off the face of the earth. Like, no one played it. Going from they cost 1 to they cost 1 less, so bad. Such a crazy nerf. And hey, Nick, how's it going? I'm doing the Colossal tier list right now. And we're almost done. We're at the neutrals now. But, yeah, let me check here. I'm pretty sure I disenchanted this. Yep. Disenchanted it when I got nerfed. And I do not regret that at all, because it was so bad after the nerf. But like I said, I think it bounces out to a B. I'll give it some credit there. But yeah, next up, we have the neutrals. So how it worked was there was one neutral Colossal with the set launch, and then they added a second one with the mini set. So the one that came out with this set was Neptulon. Neptulon, the Tide Hunter, 10 mana, 7/7. Oh, no, I'm wrong. This was the mini set. I got them confused. Never mind. The one that released with the mini set was Neptulon, the Tide Hunter. 10 mana, 7/7, Colossal 2, Rush, Wind Fury. Whenever Neptulon attacks, if you control any hands, they attack instead. So it would spawn 2 hands. They were 4/2s, immune while attacking. Oh, they were both in the mini set. Okay, I totally remembered that wrong then. So how it would work is Neptulon would spawn, summon the 2 hands. You know, it would have Rush and Wind Fury. So the first time you attack, the 2 hands attack instead, which they're immune while attacking. You attack again, and then again they attack. So what would happen is, you know, you essentially play it, kill 2 big threats. More often than not, you were cheating this out in some way. Very, very rarely were you ever playing Neptulon for 10 mana. And I think this card's S tier. Very, very strong card. You know, multiple classes could cheat this out in various ways, and you could cheat this out and just end the game. And this card's still played to this day in Wild, which is definitely a testament to its power, right? And I kind of feel like this card's almost got better with time. Because as time goes on, there becomes more and more ways to cheat things out. And pretty much, like, if you're making a deck to cheat some big minion out, right? This is one of, if not the best minion to cheat out, like in the entire game. It's just, it has an immediate impact, and if it doesn't die, it's so strong. Because you think the next turn, right? So every time this attacks, if you have the hands alive, it does 16 damage. Plus, these hands can attack themselves. So If this lives to your next turn and Neptulon and the hands are alive, that's 24 damage. So imagine cheating this out on turn 5, turn 6. Like, very, very commonly, you would cheat this out, and if you didn't kill it on your next turn, you were just dead. So I think it's an easy S. Void says Neptulon was incredibly well designed. Played with Big Priest and Shaman and Wild. Yeah, like I said, it's still played to this day in Wild. Void removal and incredibly lethal if left alive. Neptulon single-handedly made Thunderbringer remotely playable. Oh yeah, Thunderbringer too. I forgot about that. Yeah, so they came out with Thunderbringer. That was another way that people cheat out Neptulon, which, you know, there was even ways to cheat out Thunderbringer. So you would cheat out Thunderbringer, which would then cheat out Neptulon. Like I said, it was very common to get a Neptulon on the board, like turn 5, turn 6. And if you just didn't remove it on your turn, you were just dead. And it would probably just kill your board the turn it was spawned too, right? So yeah. Easy S, I think. Very, very cool card. Still played to this day. It's like the epitome of like a big payoff, right? Like if you want to, like I said, if you want to cheat out some big minion, Neptulon's where you want to go. And then last, but possibly least, we have Ozumet. It was the other neutral Colossal, 8 mana, 6/5 Colossal 6. Death Rattle for each of Ozumet's tentacles. Destroy a random enemy minion. So basically, it would spawn a board full of 1/3s. And then when an Ozumet died, if you had any tentacles on the board, they would smack and kill some minion on the opponent's board. And, man. My, like, initial impression is, like, D tier. I think Ozumet, yes, there were, you guys have talked about it earlier. There was, like, some fringe play with Ozumet, but I don't know. I feel like it was so bad. Outside of, like, some meme decks, was it even played, really? Am I remembering wrong? Clance's Blood of Gahoon. Yeah, there are so many ways to cheat out Neptulon. And S-tier voice line, yeah. And like I said, Neptulon just one of those cards that just gets better with time, I think. Magic says Kolak and Ozumet were the only Colossals I unpacked. I am so sorry for you. Don't buy lottery tickets. Bring Neptulon back for Sandwich Warrior. That'd be cool. Because like I said, right, for anyone that's kind of unfamiliar with the Colossals, even if you cheat them out, if you cheat them out from your deck, cheat them out from your hand, whatever, they still spawn the extra minions, which was really cool. Because I feel like if that wasn't the case, these would be not nearly as good. Because multiple classes cheat these out, right? So the fact that they still spawned the extra minions was very, very big. Lan says Ozumet is hot garbage. Don't know why Blizzard printed this without Taunt or Rush. Void says C- to D+. I remember there being a Druid deck that actually ran it. Yeah, you're not wrong. At one point, there was a Death Rattle Druid deck that did run this card, but I feel like this wasn't the deck's like win condition. It was just kind of like an extra good card that they ran, right? Because, yeah, Druid had the location to trigger a Death Rattle. So you could play Ozumet, trigger the Death Rattle, and wipe your opponent's board. But I feel like that wasn't the reason you were playing the deck. That was just like something good the deck did as well. I think it's D. Like I said, outside of a couple fringe situation or meme decks, I didn't remember seeing any kind of play. It's kind of crazy when you compare the two neutral Colossals, right? Neptulon, insane, S tier. Ozumet, shit, D tier. Like different ends of the spectrum. It's actually crazy. Pause, enjoyed the tier list. Thanks, man. Like I said, I like doing these. I like chatting with you guys. I like doing them live. I think it's really fun. So I have lots more planned that I very much continue to plan on doing. Void, the fact that saw play in a meta deck means I can't rank at the same tier as Kolak. But also, I guess like my logic too, right, is that Death Rattle Druid deck could function and still be tier 1 even without Ozumet. Ozumet was just like a bonus. It wasn't core to the deck, at least in my opinion. Did anyone take anything else from than Horn from Ashara? Let me look at the options again. How do you spell it? Is that right? Yeah, I miss Queen Ashara. Queen Ashara is a card they could bring back to core at some point, and I hope they do. So, Horn, if anyone is unfamiliar with this card, right? Queen Ashara, 5 mana, 5/5. If you cast 3 spells while holding it, you would get to discover an ancient relic when you played it. So, the main one that was picked was Horn of the Ancients. It was a 3 mana spell that gave you a random Colossal and it cost 1. There was also the Ring of Tides, which after you cast a spell, it became a 1 mana copy. And there was also Zalatath. It was a 2 mana weapon with 5 durability. Every time you cast a spell, it deals 2 damage to the enemy, basically like a Pyroblast over time. And then Tidestone of Golganeth, 1 mana spell. Shuffle 5 random spells into your deck, set their cost to 1, and draw 2 cards. 90% of the time, I was picking the Horn, for sure. I picked Tidestone. Yeah, Void, you are right. I would pick Tidestone sometimes in Thief Rogue because it was fun. There was a couple times I got lethal with this card. So there's a couple times I picked this one and Ring of Tides. I picked this in Rogue sometimes too, actually. There were some times I would pick Ring of Tides because it was an extra Shadow Step. So Horn, probably 80% of the time, but the others I picked in certain times. Ring of Tides and Tidestone I feel like were mainly Rogue. Tidestone I also played in some like bullshit spell mage decks. And then yeah, Zalatath I picked a couple times I've killed people with, but Horn was definitely the big one. But yeah, I think I'm happy with Ozumat being a D. These ones were obviously the strongest of the bunch. So impactful. These ones were also really good, but I don't think they were quite S tier. These Bs were just fine, not great, not bad. Nelly kind of gets balanced out, you know. Originally, Nelly was an S tier. Then it got moved to like a C or D tier. I think it just kind of balances out to a B. Glug, not good, but not as bad as these guys. And then Kolok and Ozumat, just doo-doo tier. Never played, really. Kissy, did anyone I mostly picked the Ring. I was Curse Warlock. I was not a fan of Curse Warlock. Also, what else we got here? Yes, Void. Also, everyone, get your free Hearth. So, if you didn't know, I actually haven't grabbed it yet. Right now on the store, because Hearthstone has been under some heat recently, Blizzard decided to throw us a bone, so everyone gets a free Golden Hearth, which, you know what's crazy here? They originally sold this card. There was a bundle on the store that gave you Golden Hearth and Diamond Hearth, I believe. And so what they're doing is anyone who bought that bundle, they're giving them 1,000 runestones. So very weird. So it shows you they never planned to release this card for free. They're just doing it to like appeal to people right now, right? Like shift the attention. And then over the next couple of weeks, they're giving away a couple free packs as well. But yeah, Golden Hearth is the current one. Clan, I took the weapon to fight a lot of spells. Tidestone and Thief Rogue. Also played the Ring in like early Rainbow decks to double up on C and E. I didn't even think about that. All of them had niches for sure. Clan, I wish if you Shadow Stepped Ashara, it kept it Discover rather than having to Discover 3 again. But I feel that would be OP. You know, you are right. Because I feel like there's other cards, right, that you activate them, and if you Shadow Step them, they're still active, right? Maybe, yeah, maybe it was a balance thing. But yeah. So, gonna move over to some viewer decks now. Mainly doing this to play Void's Norganon Mage deck, which they've been hyping up for a while, so we'll see how that goes. I think someone else sent me a deck at some point. Nico? Is this the Hunter deck? If it is, I'm going to save that for next week. Yeah, this will be saved for next week. Next week's Hunter week. Anyone else send me a deck? Let me take a look. Oh, JRF sent a deck. Let's check out this one. I'm missing some cards there. I didn't even pay attention to it. Yes, Void, you've been hyping Norganon up. We'll have to see how it goes. All right, this is a Painlock deck, which I haven't played. I haven't really played Painlock at all too much. So you got Party Fiend, very, very good one drop, especially for Painlock. Got the Cursed Souvenir, Fearless Flame Juggler. What else you got? Grifta. Yeah, I haven't played too much Painlock. So yeah, this is JRF, right? So we got JRF's Painlock. I've been hyping up Norganon, but Norganon is only as good as Mages, and Mage is suffering right now. Yeah, Mage is in a rough spot. That is for sure. Especially in Standard. Like, once Sif rotates, Mage has nothing. Oh, it was a Standard deck you sent me. I didn't even realize that. Yeah, Mage is struggling in Standard right now. That is for sure. What Frost spells does this grab? Just Frostbolt? I feel like watercolor art is a little random. Man, I feel like Blizzard is releasing Golden Hearth for free due to the backlash. 100%. How disappointing the anniversary was, or else they wouldn't have sold it digitally, or sold it originally. Yeah, the fact that they sold this card originally and now are giving it away and compensating people who bought it, that was not part of the original plan. Like, they are 100% doing it just because they're under fire right now. You are exactly right. You know, Painlock is OP when they're not even playing Symphony or Sins or Sargeras anymore. I feel like Sargeras, I understand. It's a little slow, but Symphony, for sure. Very good card. Oh, buy one, get one free to copy Sif. I didn't even think about that. JRF Mage can get some cheeky games with Lamplighter. Oh yeah, Elemental Mage. Elemental Mage is a very cheap deck too. It's like 1,200 dust to craft a deck. There's not even any epics or legendaries in it. All right, well here, let's get things started. If anyone else has a deck they want to see me play, go ahead and just post it in the comments. But for now, let's try out Void's Norganon Mage. After lots of hype. I feel like weeks or months of hype. Tinned is the backlash because of no new board. That is the big part. Yeah, it was. I feel like it's kind of snowballed a bit, right? It very much started with there not being a board for this expansion. But then there's also been some other things lately that they've kind of been cutting corners with. I should toss that too, actually. Yeah, there's been some things that they've kind of been pulling back and, you know, cutting corners with. And I feel like it's just kind of got to a point that people have got, you know, kind of sick of it or like being more vocal about it. And then Blizzard made their announcement last week, you know, talking about how basically alluding to the fact that they're going to start releasing paid boards, which I'm fine with personally. That's pretty good. Yeah, I don't care if they release paid boards. If it keeps the lights on and you want to release some you know, cosmetics for money, who gives a shit? I really don't care. But some people are very upset about it. And yeah, people are just worried about the future of the game, right? Which I understand. And Blizzard gave a kind of like a wishy-washy answer, basically saying like, we're in it for the long haul, guys. Trust us. Just trust us. So yeah, people are a little bent out of shape, and I definitely understand some of it. I don't really understand the backlash for the board stuff, but let's just do this. RNG some, that's okay. Okay. One of the worst classes to get this card against. Void believes in the Norganon lethal. Clan can be link other decks, or does it have to be standard and a mage? No, it could be anything. It could be standard, wild, any class you want. So how does the Norganon, how does it work exactly? Do I just have to play it and then just double reverb and just go to town? Is Divine Brew just there to like give you Divine Shield? Like basically just like stall? Guess he's okay with paid boards as long as they'll be in theme and music. You know what's funny is they have so many boards made for Battlegrounds. I'm surprised they don't just have them available to buy for Standard as well. That's probably what they'll do. Release Battleground boards for Standard as well. All right. Not in a great spot. The big thing with Mage right now, and this is a problem Rogue has as well, is they don't really have much in terms of like healing and armor and stabilizing, right? You got Sleet Skater, which is very good. But other than that, it's not much. And so many decks nowadays can just chip away at you, right? Like you need that little bit of healing or armor gain. Like losing Cold Case really sucked for Mage. Yeah, see, like the constant Corpsicle, you just whittle a Mage down. I'm probably dead. I can negate the damage with that. I'm gonna burn a card though. Jeez. I'm probably dead. Clan says, "Don't blame the devs, blame the greedy higher ups and the shareholders." Oh, 100%. It's not like Joe Schmo's fault, right? It's definitely the greedy executives. 100%. Wow. Surprised I didn't just die there. Is there any way to discount this card? See, what if I do this? Do this? Oh! Oh, this already gives me Divine Shield. I'm still probably dead. Divine Brew is there as a holy spell. Oh, yeah, yeah, and some defensive utility. I don't see how his cosmetics keep the lights on. People already spend hundreds on cards every 3 months. Cosmetics must be like 1% of the revenue. I don't know. I bet you cosmetics make up a bigger portion of the revenue than you probably think. You know, like I've talked about this before, right? But I used to work for a major video game company, and I used to see how much people would spend on things. You know, I got to see kind of behind the scenes on how much people spent. A big one is sports games, where I would see how much people would spend on sports games, Grand Theft Auto, stuff like that. It is insane. Hundreds and thousands of dollars. Like, I bet you, you know, and like, what is it? There's always there's this one story I've read before from Blizzard where, what was it? Rogue. If I remember right, the story was basically that I think it was Overwatch released some skin, and that skin made more money than all of the sales of StarCraft or something like stupid like that. So yeah, I think you undersell it a little bit in regards to how much cosmetics make. It's a lot of money. Like, they make more from packs. I'm not saying that, but it's a decent chunk for sure. You got a lot of whales out there who just buy all the cosmetics. I don't know if this is better to save for like late game or not. Also, Clan, I'm fine with more cosmetics if they don't sacrifice content for the main game. Unfortunately, this hasn't been the case. Oh yeah, so an Organa basically works by powering up his abilities based on how many he has left. So the idea is use an ability, reverb, then use another. Oh, okay. Um. Oh, cheap reverb. I probably won't live that long against Elemental Rogue. You do need to discount something. Ideally, you want to find reverb off of Glyph or Infinitize. Or get the discount from Grifta, yeah. Magic says, I heard people have gotten gambling addictions from FIFA pack openings. Oh, 100%. You would not believe the amount of money people spend on like NBA and FIFA in those games. It's actually insane. And I've talked about it before, but the craziest thing to me with sports games is people will spend hundreds of dollars on these packs for sports games, right? And then literally the next year, the new game comes out, they start over, and they just buy more packs again. Like, imagine if, you know, like Hearthstone, right? Imagine if every year your collection was just wiped. And then you start over. You buy a bunch of packs. Next year, collection's wiped. Oh, buy some more packs. Start over again. Like, it's actually crazy. JRF says Madden Ultimate must print money. So from my experience, at least in North America, because I only dealt with North America. So, because maybe in Europe, FIFA, maybe the bigger one in Europe. But at least in North America, NBA was the biggest one. NBA 2K, you know, in terms of like microtransaction and people spending money on packs and stuff, that was the big one. Second, in terms of sports games, probably Madden. Probably Madden, then like NHL. Man, that kind of sucks that these aren't great against rogues. And then the other big one was GTA. A lot of people spent a lot of money on GTA, the shark cards. Void, I tried a deck with more discounts, like running Service Ace and Clearance Promoter, but that means the shell of the deck isn't as good. Plan of stopped playing Standard until the next balance patch because of how oppressive Warrior and Druid are. Yeah, so we're supposed to have the next balance patch on Tuesday, I believe, this coming Tuesday. Hugh says, I think free-to-play... Am I just dead? Hugh, I think free-to-play is the best way to play the game because it actually feels like you're earning the cards you get. Yeah, it depends on the game, I guess, right? Some are much more generous with free-to-play. Some games, it feels like you're just like, you know, like treading through cement, like you know, trying to earn things. But some games are pretty generous. We're just dead, right? What's this lamplighter at?
I wonder.
Well. All right. Let's try again. We need an Organon win. That is the goal. Organon is also pretty good to just drop on curve. It can't be often removed on turn 6. We have to make it to turn 6 first. Another rogue. Man. Did the ladder reset and everyone's just playing Lamplighter now? Also, JRF, it's a shame since EA has the rights to most of all the sports games. But what do they do with the profits besides running out with basically the same game over and over? I agree. So the problem here, I would say the problem with that situation is less so EA and more so the players. You know, players like just in general, not even just sports games. Video game players keep complaining about all of the stuff these publishers are doing, but they still keep eating it up. You know, like I mentioned, right? EA keeps doing this degenerate stuff with like sports games, but then people keep buying it more and more every single year. Like EA is literally shitting in the players' mouths and they're saying, yes, please feed me more, please. Like, how can you complain? Like, you are the problem. But yeah, it's the same thing with companies releasing like buggy and half-finished games too. People keep saying like, why do they keep doing this? Why do they keep getting away with it? And it's because people keep buying it. These developers release these busted games and they still break records, so it doesn't matter. Like, what incentive do they have to release a finished product if they can release a half-baked product and still sell well? So yeah, if you don't like what they're doing, stop buying their stuff. That's the moral of the story.
What to do? What to do?
Try and keep his board down a bit. Yeah, that's my TED talk for the day there. Which maybe I'm a little passionate about it because, like I said, I saw a lot of this from behind the scenes, and I worked for years. I'm not gonna say what company it was. It was one of the major video game companies. I worked there for years, and I saw a lot of stuff from kind of behind the scenes. Like, opened my eyes. Like I said, how much money they make from certain things, you would not believe. And like I said, these broken games, right? I would see these broken games release, and I would see how much they sold. Like, it is crazy. 27, not too bad. Counterspell? Sure. Slow him down a little bit, maybe. It's like I hold this for one more turn. Void says, need to find a warrior. Yeah, just like yesterday. I was hoping to run into all the warriors. Hugh says, Magic Arena is basically impossible, free to play. Hearthstone has that dust system, which helps out a lot. You know what's funny is I feel like Magic Arena is actually decent. I don't know. Or at least I feel like Magic Arena is pretty like equivalent to Hearthstone. I feel like they're very similar in their reward system. Tin says EA and 2K. Yeah, if I remember right, 2K is what, NBA, Sony does MLB, and then all like the rest are EA, I think, something like that. Magic Arena scratches the itch when I want to draft because local shops only play Commander now. Yeah, I've talked about Commander in the past. It's pros and cons. I love Commander, right? But I understand people's frustration that Commander has very much like warped Magic. You know, like all new Magic releases are made with Commander in mind, even if Commander has nothing to do with them. So I like it and I don't like it, and I understand like some of the bad player sentiment there. Also, Tind, in my experience, the people I know who play FIFA don't follow any gaming discussion online and don't have any conception of stuff we criticize FIFA for. They just eat it up. That's a good point. You know, sometimes, and like I'm guilty of this too, right? Sometimes you'll see on Reddit, people will complain about like why certain things are popular or why certain people do certain things. But you have to understand, your average consumer isn't on Reddit. Like your average consumer isn't reading articles online. So yeah, I forget it sometimes too, but that is a good point. Your average consumer is just like a sheep, right? They're not critically thinking, they're not looking at reviews, they're not looking at Reddit. So and that's the majority, right? So these companies, they just got to appeal to them. I should have played this first. So this draws Discovery of Magic or Divine Brew. Let's take it slow. We're actually at a decent health total for turn 6 already. Clan says, what was your job in the company? I managed their customer service, which again gave me a unique insight because every like game release, right, I was heavily involved in like player sentiment. You know, I had very much an inside scoop in regards to, you know, like what people were contacting the company about, what the volume was like, refund statistics. I had a lot of information in regards to, people requesting refunds and stuff like that. So yeah, I had a lot of cool insight. Grifta? You want the discount, you said, right? Healing. Yeah, and so one thing I will never forget is I worked at the company when Cyberpunk came out. That was a shit show. I will never forget that. That I feel like, yeah, there was like a lot of people freaking out around that time. Hey, Svenny, just woke up, so I'm late. Hey, better late than never. Welcome. Magic, best sports video game I played was the interactive soccer pitch in Club Penguin. Here, let's play this. Let's get this going. I don't think I ever went on Club Penguin. I feel like I missed the boat. Maybe I'm too old for Club Penguin. I will burn a card. Do I care? Actually, this will burn me a card too. Oh, that's interesting. Man, I almost just threw this at his face because why not? I'm glad I didn't with the Wild Pyromancer now. Clan says, Cyberpunk, you worked for CD Projekt Red. No. I didn't work for CD Projekt Red, no. I worked for one of the companies that Cyberpunk released for. That's what I'll say. Oh, we got our own. Who cares? So if I played Norganon, like, I don't want to use the damage ability, right?
What to do?
Or like, because theoretically, right, if I Norganon, shoot for 5, or no, like, you can't do that. I don't know, why does this combo confuse me so much?
Buy one, get one full price.
Let's see what we get. Oh, this is actually not bad, right? Void says you can Norganon to increase cost here. Let's go for it. It's weird Norganon doesn't have... I don't know. I talked about it during my tier list of the Titans. I feel like Norganon could have had like elusive or something. Smitty's got a late show mage deck. All right, I'll have to paste that after this game.
I know all the steps.
Also, void damage is also good. Oh yeah, just this was Sif. Oh, I guess that's one good reason to take the Griff to like 6 damage option, right? With Sif. What is this guy doing? Sonya Shadow Step on Shale Spider. I have lethal on board though.
Time's ticking.
Tin says the one good thing about FIFA is they're carrying couch co-op on their back. Do they still have couch co-op? You know, so many games have got rid of couch co-op. I don't even know which games have it still. I didn't know FIFA had it. That's interesting. All right. Is there a way I get a Norganon lethal here? So, what do I do? Do this? Gonna do this. Yeah. We didn't need it, but... Alright, we'll count the one for now. I'll have to go back to this deck, though. Oh, yeah, Void says the same to me. Trade into their board for space and revert for 20. Alright, JR, I have to try your Painlock deck. Actually, oh, before I start... Oh, I just missed it. Clan and Svinny sent me decks. I'll have to copy their decks after this. Priest. Is Priest good against this deck? Also pause. Exact lethal. Nothing better, yeah. It's always satisfying. Turn 1. Turn 2. Oh, trolley problem's a bit of a bummer. I mulligan trolley problem and I get it back. Okay, let's see. If Priest has a board clear, I lose. If they don't, I win. That's what it boils down to, I think. Okay. This will be a 6/6. What? Oh, yeah. Spending health isn't taking damage anymore, right? Well, GG, guys. Oh. Is that 2 or 0? I forgot they made that change. That taking or spending health isn't taking damage. That's a bummer. Oh, I just missed it. Smitty said, remember the 2-drop doesn't get bonuses from the Treant. I missed that message. Also, can this priest stop having all the answers, please? All right, Molten Giants cost 1. Can I draw 1? Clan also said Juggler doesn't stack with Treant. Too late. I learned something, guys. I feel like I can't afford to play this. My health is so low. Like, if I don't draw, like, Popgar or an Infernal... Do I have to, though? I feel like I need to be aggressive, right? Alright, let's see. Could drop Ciliax, maybe. Oh, the Treant still hurts you if you're immune. That's interesting. Actually, that's good. It doesn't hurt me now. Alright, how fast can I kill myself? Alright. JRF's so dependent on having an Infernal. I maybe should have saved this for a taunt, but he's so low on cards, I didn't want him to draw anything. Also, Hugh says it's so stupid that spending health is different from taking damage. Your health goes down, right? I agree. Yeah, I think they made that change within like the last month. Or not, sorry, within the last like year, I feel like. Like for most of Hearthstone's history, spending life was taking damage. Do I actually party fiend? Yeah, do I party fiend into Ziliax? I will be at 2 life. At 2 life, he could kill me with that one spell that heals 6 or deals 3. But it also just like threatens lethal, right? Oh no, I'll die to this. I'll die if the Geo dies. Okay, never mind. That's funny. Tyler says, watch out for Mind Blast. Is Mind Blast standard legal right now? Also, Clan, they made the change because Stealer of Souls was busted in Wild. Fun fact, it was the first card ever to be banned in Hearthstone. Was it? Wow. I know... Am I dead? How come when I played Reno Priest yesterday, I didn't have games like this where I just had answer after answer? Is there anything that saves me? No. Well, sometimes that's the way she goes. I have to say, though, playing a priest and having a game like that feels so good. Because having your hand full of, like, answers. Also, JRF, kind of like I said yesterday, I either kill my opponent or myself by turn 7 or 8. That is true. They're fast games at the very least, right? The best thing about this Warlock is that he can always commit suicide. Yeah, don't let your opponent get the win. Only I kill myself. The self-damage Warlock is insane and wild. That must be why. Yeah. Kind of wish I had a 1-drop. Well, this is technically a 1-drop, I guess. Ah, screw it. Plan, don't know why Infernal has premium stats for basically an upside for Painlock. Needs to be a 5/5. Oh, wow. Okay. Needs to be a 5/5 minimum or lose a taunt. Yeah, it definitely is like a pushed card. You are right. It has very premium stats, and it's because it can be viewed as a downside, right? But 99% of the time, it's an upside. So yeah, very push card for sure. Yeah, if they didn't get the Ziliax with that Elise, I don't think it was lethal still, but the Ziliax certainly helped. Was it unholy? Okay. Do I Cursed Souvenir or Spirit Bomb that? So one's going face. I Cursed Souvenir that, trade Hero Power maybe? Which isn't that bad. Discounts these some more. Next turn I could tap Spirit Bomb maybe. Sure. Let's be aggressive. But yeah, I didn't realize that Stealer of Souls was the first card banned. Because I know Stealer of Souls, I believe it was nerfed and changed multiple times. Let me look. Yeah, like I'm glad I kept that Spear Bomb. I feel like I need to kill this. Tap. Next turn, nerf. And then a couple years later, it then got nerfed again. So it got almost immediately banned and then nerfed twice. Oh, so nice. What was this guy thinking? I'm at 15 life, right? People make really weird decisions against Pain Warlock, I feel like. Hugh says self-damage Warlock and Wild is a good deck, but it's not a favorable place in the meta. It gets ran over by all the aggro. Really? I know Demon Seed's really, really popular, right? Is it not like tier 1? Or tier 2? I thought it was really good. I should try it out again sometime. I haven't played Demon Seed since like at least the last expansion. Easy game, guys. I don't know why that guy didn't trade there. Like, make my stuff cheaper, yes please. Alright. Svinny sent me a deck, a Light Show Mage deck, and then someone else sent me a deck as well. Clan sent me a deck. Let's see what you guys sent over. Oh, it's a Wild Mage deck. Alright. Guys, all the Mage decks today. We got a standard Light Show Mage and a Wild Sith Mage. Nice. This is a light show deck. Get clans deck. Missing one card, Polk out. Is there anything I can replace this with? I could replace this with, what's the card called? Talon. Kind of. Like, they both draw me Sif, right? Let's try that. Also, Hugh, I just noticed your name. Hugh Janus. Clan, in case you didn't know, Stealer Souls and Wild was played with Viat Illusionist, which gave you infinite mana at 0 downside. Basically, Thaddeus Warlock before Thaddeus. Also, Hugh, it's popular. Doesn't mean it's the best there is. It's mostly a mid-tier menace. It's meant to grind through slower decks. It's pretty good for climbing, but not for legend. Yeah, it's kind of funny how sometimes like the most popular decks aren't necessarily the best, right? You know, I've talked about I'll keep him. I've talked about obviously like Plague Death Knight, like Cockroach Death Knight a lot, right? Where Cockroach Death Knight is very consistently like a very popular deck, but it's not that great. Like in terms of like win rate and stuff, it's not that good, but people just love it. I don't get it. I hate the deck, but people love it. Polkelt is to draw Sif. You can replace Grillmaster if you want. I thought about putting Grillmaster in there. Actually, I'm gonna hold that. I thought about putting Grillmaster in, but was there the Tourist card in there already? Because if not, I'd have to pull another card that had the Tourist. Ooh, I like that location. I'm gonna get it out. This card's fun. So this is Excavate. Let's just take the armor. Because once again, Mage, I feel like you just killed them by whittling them down. Oh, is this Wishing Well? I played an Excavate Wishing Well deck at one point. I should play Wishing Well again. It's a fun card. Glyph. So this will draw a different arcane spell. What do I have? Rewind and Light Show? Okay. Oh, that's... Okay. So 66% chance to draw Light Show with this. And I need to play it on 5. Oh. Oh, it's only maybe 6. Oh, I still can't play it for another turn. Oh, man. This is rough. Give me something to play. Oh, no. If I can survive, I have a lot of potential light shows here. Oh, it doesn't kill anything, though. No. And they overdraw. Oh, man. So many aggro decks, guys. Let me have fun. Actually, this one isn't even really like an aggro deck, right? He just got really good glyph there. How long have you been playing Hearthstone? I've been playing Hearthstone since beta. And like pretty consistently. I never took any like extended time off or anything like that. So yeah, a little over 10 years now I've been playing the game. It's been a wild ride. Not really any point to play that still. Next turn, I could freeze that again. Stargazing into Light Show. How about you guys? How long have you guys all been playing? I think it's really cool when some of you guys tell me you only started playing like within the last year or two. It's cool that like to see the game still bringing in new players. So that's neat. Okay. Stop playing cards. If this draws rewind, please don't draw rewind. Okay. Give me light show. Ice barrier is not bad actually. Keeps me alive a bit more. Kill you. All right, we're hanging on there. Pause has been playing since Blackrock released. Blackrock was a good expansion. Or good, it wasn't even an expansion, it was an adventure. Yeah, but that was a good one. Magic started playing when Demon Hunter released. I feel like a lot of people started playing when Demon Hunter released. I feel like Demon Hunter release was like the peak of Hearthstone. Void started playing Battlegrounds around Stormwind, got pulled into playing duels around Voyage, and Standard by Nathria. Nice, that's definitely a journey. You've been playing for 2 years now. I transitioned from Standard into Wild about a year ago. Clan. What? Okay, those were some pulls. Jesus. Well, sometimes RNG is just not on your side. We were in a good spot too. We kind of stabilized a bit. I had a bunch of potential light shows. That's too bad. Those were some sweet wishing well pulls. Jeez. Zek started playing in 2020 but stopped playing for 2 years. Also, Clan started a Boomsday project but didn't get serious until a year ago. Yeah, like I said, it's cool to hear how so many of you guys have only been playing for a few years. Like the fact that it's still new people are coming into the game. Because I feel like everything you read online is just like that Hearthstone's dying, right? But the fact that so many of you guys have only been playing for a couple years now, like new people are still coming in, right? So it's nice to see. That's also one reason, like I've talked about it before, but there's been a bunch of hints that Hearthstone is coming out on Steam. And I think it'd be really cool if it came out on Steam because Steam publicly shows like their game populations, right? And obviously if Hearthstone came out on Steam, not everyone's going to switch over to the Steam version, but it'll still give us like a point of reference, right? If we could see how many people are playing Hearthstone on Steam, it can still give us a bit of an idea like where the game's at. I don't have jack shit in my hands, so yeah, I'm hoping it comes out. Tin's been playing since Old Gods. Old Gods is probably my favorite expansion. Yeah, if I had to pick my favorite expansion, like favorite meta, Old Gods is probably it for me. Also, JRF, 2 months, wow. So I have to ask, JRF, because you are the one who's been playing the least amount so far, what got you to play Hearthstone? Like, was it a friend of yours? Did you see an ad? Did you see a YouTube video? Like, what pulled you into Hearthstone? I'm curious. Also, Kissy's been playing since beta. My first legendary ever was a Nixia. Nice, nice. I remember the first time I hit legend, my freebie legendary card was Nat Pago. No, it wasn't Nat Pago. It was Cho, I believe. Nat Pago I actually had because Nat Pago was actually good back in the day at one point. Man, I can't do anything for a couple turns. But he's not really doing anything either. Stonehill Defender. Is this Reno, maybe? What does this draw? Sleet Skater? Shale Spider? Aqua Activist is kind of random. Ooh, Tar Slime? Oh, it's actually a bunch of things. Okay. For what it's worth, dirty ratting a mage is probably worth it, right? Because you hit Sif and it's potentially just GG. You probably wasn't expecting Zilliax. Paz says, when Alaya, former game director, did the weekly Q&A on Twitter, he did mention Battlegrounds alone would have been in the top 10 regularly top number of active online players. Yeah, it's insane how much Battlegrounds has just like taken over Hearthstone. Like I talked earlier, right, about how Commander has very much like warped Magic the Gathering. Like Magic the Gathering very much, you know, designs things around Commander now. And I feel like Hearthstone, a huge part of Hearthstone development goes to Battlegrounds now. And you go like on Twitch, right? Most of like the top streams on Twitch are playing Battlegrounds. I think it's boring to watch personally, but it's obviously I'm in the minority. Like it's got a huge audience. Also, JRF, I played WoW on and off and was looking for a mobile game to play while at work. Figured Hearthstone was the way to go. I'm surprised they haven't done more like cross promotions with like WoW and Hearthstone. Like they exist in the same universe, right? Surprised they haven't done more there. Ooh, light show. Amazing, guys. 1 and 3 into 1 and 3. This guy has to be Reno, by the way. Origami Crane, Stonehill Defender. Also, Tind, I spent a few years just playing Battlegrounds. Does that count as quitting the game? I would say no. If you stopped playing Constructed and played Battlegrounds, like you're still playing Hearthstone, right? It's just a different kind of Hearthstone. Battlegrounds is boring to watch, I agree. Battlegrounds has the big birth of Hearthstone modes. The reason I was introduced to Hearthstone in the first place was because my friends wanted to play Battlegrounds with me. Yeah, like I said, it's crazy how big it's gotten. This is a 50-50. Nice. Kill this one, please. Cool. Are we living the dream this game, guys? All it took was playing against the Reno Demon Hunter. Which I've said before, I think Reno Demon Hunter is like really underrated. Like I've hit Legend with Reno Demon Hunter 2 months out of the last few months. I think it's very underrated deck. Battlegrounds I think is fun, but I liked having the ability to make my own decks and strategies in the regular Hearthstone modes. Yeah, I see the appeal of Battlegrounds, right? I go through periods where I will play Battlegrounds a shit ton for like a month, and then I won't touch Battlegrounds for 6 months. So I very much kind of go back and forth a little bit. I see the appeal. It's just, it's not a mode I can just like focus on, right? Like Crip. If for anyone who doesn't know, Criparian is one of the biggest Hearthstone YouTubers for the vast majority of Hearthstone's life. He's been playing since the beginning. He's been playing since beta, and he's been playing this entire time. And he started off as mainly an arena player. He was like the arena player on YouTube. And when Battlegrounds came out, he transitioned to Battlegrounds, and it's all he does. I haven't watched him in a long time, but I don't know the last time he's played like non-Battlegrounds Hearthstone, right? And like that, I can't imagine switching my entire focus to Battlegrounds. I just don't think I could do it. All right, we're living the dream, guys. We're living the dream. Actually, was that? Oh, that was just lethal if I casted the second one, right? I was not realizing how much damage these had ramped up to. Jeez. Well, I think that's GG. I've said it before, but Light Show is such a cool card. It's so hard to pull this off. But when you do, it's really, really fun. Like, just double Light Show wins here, right? Yeah, I should have played the second one. I didn't realize how much damage they were up to. 12 damage now. Sleet Skater's really nice. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this card could be cut with how many like shitty elementals are in this. Like, I understand why they're in the deck, right? They're in the deck for like anti-aggro. I don't know. All right, pew pew, pew pew. Light Show is like the spell version of Jade Golem or Pogo Rogue. Those are good comparisons for sure. But I feel like both Pogo Rogue and Jade Golem are much better than Light Show Mage. But like I said, when Light Show Mage like clicks and like you draw good, it feels so good. All right, Clan, let's try your Sif Mage deck. Playing all the Mage decks today. Ooh, Mage versus Mage. This is probably Quest Mage, I'm guessing, though. What are the chances they're gonna have like a minion I can hit with this? I feel like pretty low. This is probably Quest Mage. I feel like 90% chance is Quest Mage, right? Oh, maybe not. Is Quest Mage running Renathal? Also, I did like mulligan this. Don't you guys love when you mulligan a card and you just literally just get the other copy of it? Oh, this Quest is not the one I thought. Interesting. Is there anything cheeky I can hit with this? These two kind of suck, right? Might as well take it. Magic, I've been having fun recently with my Reno Paladin that runs floppy Hydra for infinite value. Reno Paladin is cool. I gotta play that some more. Oh, I miss Cold Case. Objection. If they're dumb, that can counter the quest reward, right? Yeah, Reno Paladin's cool. I really like the Mirage card. You just get, if you play that early in the game, you get so much value off it. Hey, bruh, I'm late. I must defend Warrior players. Hey, I'm a Warrior player. Don't worry, I'm not shit-talking Warrior. Yeah, I miss Cold Case. Cold Case is an example of just like a good, solid card. It's not overpowered or anything. It's just solid. Like, you're always happy to play it. Rippin' Sorcerer's Apprentice on 4? Okay, please kill it. Okay. How many minions does this deck run? Like, will I be able to counter the... There's no way he's that dumb, right? Please kill it. Oh... I had the best luck. At least I get... Now let's draw first. Alright, we got 2 0-cost Flame Geysers, which is nice. Hugh says, this is wild? Yep, this was a wild Sif deck that was sent to me by Clan. Bruh, speaking of which, we need nerfs soon, so I may have enough dust to craft Gilly. Yeah, so from my understanding, there's going to be a balance patch next Tuesday. And I've said it before, right? But I foresee Ziliax getting nerfs. I foresee Hydration Station. What's the elemental people are playing that shoots people? Flame something. Torch something? Something like that. That card I think will get nerfed too. So yeah, hopefully we'll get some nice dust. Hey Pod, I don't know if you're still here, but Cottage just strolled in. Say hello to Pod if they're still here. Secret from their deck. What's that? Ice Block? Play this. Do I play Objection now? What do they have in their hand? Spell. 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 Oh, they have a minion there. Let's see if they play it first. Cottage is a cutie. Yes, she is cute. Lamplighter. Okay, yeah. I think Lamplighter gets nerfed. Unfortunately, Lamplighter's only a common, so you won't get much dust there. But Hydration Station's an epic, right? So if that gets nerfed, that's some good dust. Ziliax obviously is a legendary. Bro, I doubt they'll nerf Ziliax and Hydration Station. Yeah, I don't know. You never know with Blizzard, man. Sometimes they go hog wild with the nerfs, and other times they wait. Okay, so now we play Objection. Hopefully he didn't get a minion off the Excavate.
Bask in my radiance.
Don't. These all kind of suck, right? I don't really need the board clear. The Sunwell? So this would get me 4 spells, sure. And I can life sentence that.
Runs out on me.
Hey, that could possibly cheat out Sif. None of these do more damage, though. Oh, Hydration Station's rare. I don't know why I thought it was epic. JRF, how about the new Deadpool movie? I haven't seen it yet. I definitely want to go see it. Actually, that brings something up. I want to talk about how, how to tell if marketing is successful. And an example of this is my girlfriend. She will watch Marvel movies with me. You know, up until Endgame, I was a huge Marvel fan. You know, I was that person that every new movie, I wanted to watch it. And ever since Endgame, I don't really give a shit. Half the movies I don't even watch. I don't think they're that good anymore. Endgame was definitely the peak of Marvel to me. Oh, well. But anyways, if I want to watch a Marvel movie, my girlfriend will watch it. She'll never suggest one, right? It'll never be her idea to watch one. But the other day, she said to me that she wanted to watch the first Deadpool movies, so she can watch the new one, right? And my first thought was her TikTok feed must be like full of Deadpool shit. I feel like that's a measure of like successful marketing. If you grab someone who is like has no interest in something, right? And you suck them in, like it was successful, right? Also, Maya, is that a spam link or are you getting banned? What's the point of this video, Maya? Tell me you're not a bot or you're getting a ban. Let's get some cards out of my hands. Oh, I should have played this actually. Draw a card. Yeah, Bruss is probably just Ziliax. Hugh, I just made a ramp Druid deck based on Ziliax and Hydration Station to counter aggro. Hey, if they're nerfed, you get your dust back, right? Clan Secret's either Ice Block or Duplicate for Sorcerer's Apprentice. He's probably going for an OTK with Ignite. How do you think they'll nerf Ziliax? Also, Maya, you haven't replied, so you are getting banned, my friend. Guessing you're some kind of bot. Goodbye. How do you think they'll nerf Ziliax? Gonna be hard with all the modules. I think there's a lot of ways they can go with nerfing Ziliax. I think removing Taunt would be really, really good, because if they remove Taunt, you know, it can't be brought back by Hydration Station. It's... What is going on here? Okay, that doesn't really matter. If I had Sif in my hand, that'd be really, really annoying, actually. So... do that. What is this? Okay. Actually, what did we get off this? Oh, no battle cry, though. That's too bad. Oh, I forgot you got one in your hand. Did the card always work this way? I would have taken Incendius if so. Damn. I don't really have any reason to go face. Although it's gonna suck when I play Sif and he has Ice Block. Oh yeah, like I was saying with Ziliax, right? I think removing Taunt would be good. It'll just make it less annoying. I think removing Reborn is too harsh of a nerf. I think they could turn the Reborn into a Battle Cry. That's one option. So if you play Ziliax, it'll get the Reborn, but if you like cheat out Ziliax or resurrect it, it won't get the Reborn. So yeah, I think that's like the two main ways to do it. And remember to build up your spell school. Bruh says the most likely remove a keyword. Increasing the cost will be pointless. I agree. Increasing the cost of Ziliax will be pointless at this point. Oh, I will overdraw a card. I got some shitty spells from Sunwell in my hands. I don't want to use these damage spells. Just pass. Next turn. Get rid of Implosion. Maybe Cliff Dive. See. Also, the reason Ziliax is as good as it is now is because of its last nerf, so the devs have to be careful. Yeah, it is funny, right? How removing stealth actually buffed the card in a way. Oh, so sad. Gotta love when Yogg just kills himself. Also, Clan. Sorry, I'm a little behind here. Clan, I'm the exact same. I stopped going to the theaters after Endgame. I guess the pandemic really hurt my love for going to the movies. I just feel like the quality of the Marvel movies has just gone downhill. Like since Endgame. I feel like Endgame was the peak, and since then they've just kind of gone downhill a bit. I'm actually just gonna rip this. I don't want to finale it. Frozen Touch. How has he not completed his quest still? Magic, good marketing is when non-fans are familiar with your content. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, the fact that my girlfriend randomly wanted to watch Deadpool, perfect example of it right there. All right, just chill. Don't cast Mirror Image. Okay. How do you think nerfing the Chemical Spill card would affect Standard? You know, it's really funny. Chemical Spill went from, like, useless to such a good card. It's really funny how, like, meta shifts can make good cards bad and, like, bad cards good without even changing them. Also, Kissy, after Endgame, I like Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and now Deadpool 3. That's probably, if I had to pick some good ones, I agree. But there's been so many bad Marvel TV shows and movies, too. Just rip this. Hitting Sif would be funny.
This is not what we stood for. Rotten to the core.
This guarantees I get Sif. I don't think it matters, right? Like, he has Ice Block. Oh, Counterspell. Also, bro, they can fix the problem just by adding more tech to the core set. I don't understand why they'd rather nerf Silly. Yeah, I talked about this a bit yesterday, right? But all of the, like, tech cards, I feel like should just permanently be in core. I feel like Viper, Steam Cleaner, any, like, those niche tech cards, they should all just stay in Standard. Or, like, stay in the core, I feel like. Also, JRF, off topic, of what chair are you using? I like how tall the back is. So this is an IKEA chair. Let me see if I can find it. So I was in the market for a new chair during the pandemic, and I did a bunch of reading, and I didn't want to buy one of those like those crazy expensive chairs. You know, people spend like $500, $1,000 on a chair. I bought this IKEA chair. It was like $200, $250, something like that, and I sit in it like 12 plus hours a day, and yeah, it's great. Let me see if I can find it. Do I just combo with Sif and get him as close to 0 as I can and just win on the next turn? Like, might as well, right? So I trade 1 to infuse. Okay. How do I get him as close to 1 as possible? Let's do this first. It's still gonna be a bit of a ways off. Let's do this. That's fine. So I can kill him potentially with like double frozen touch, flame geyser. And I got Astalor. Oh, so sad. JRF loved Doctor Strange. It was my favorite, but that was the last movie. Okay. Don't even need ice block, guys. Let me see if I can find this IKEA chair. What's it called again? Also, it was funny during the pandemic. It was so hard. Oh, this is it. This one. This Marcus chair. Yeah. This is the one. It is the high back is really nice. So I specifically have the leather one. I don't think they make it anymore. You can see this one has a cloth seat. I think the one I bought was like $250, something like that. And it has a leather seat, which they don't make anymore. But yeah, the chair's comfortable. I like the high back. You know, I know people with like $1,000 chairs. I think that's just insane. And like I said, I sit in this thing 12 plus hours a day. No issues with it. So yeah, that's my IKEA advertisement for the day. What else we got? Sorry, I'm falling behind these messages. You guys are chatty and I keep going on tangents. Here, let's go back to Void's Mage deck. See if we get an Organon win. Also, Tinned, is this Ziliax better than the original Ziliax used to be? Like I said, it's funny how removing stealth actually like buffed Ziliax in a way. Like it was a nerf, but it was also a buff in some ways. Wow, running into lots of mages. Magic, I feel like the MCU has been having an identity crisis ever since Robert Downey Jr. left. Did you see they're bringing him back? Which is kind of weird. Now Tom Holland is the face of the franchise, but he's a bit too young to have the gravitas. Yeah, the fact that they're bringing back Robert Downey Jr. is really weird. Like, you know, the MCU, like Marvel, is in like panic mode, right? It's almost like Hearthstone. Like Hearthstone giving out Golden Hearth is exactly like Marvel bringing back Robert Downey Jr. They're like, people are upset. What do we do to like make them happy? And Robert Downey Jr. is like the ace in the pocket, right? So random. Bruh, Tin is not a card that can be used in every deck like the old Ziliax, but it's definitely a more meta warping. Maybe they should show. Maybe you should throw Eater of Secrets in ETC. I do think in Wild, you know, Mage and Ice Block are so prevalent. It's kind of worth having like a secret tech in the card, or like a secret tech in the deck. Also, Kissy. Oh, Svinny. So I missed this message, but you said that the card is the same as Marin's Crown. It was changed. So I'm not crazy that the card originally didn't give it to your hand. Hey, that's good for Sif, right? Oh, no, that increases the damage to me too, right? Screw it. Maybe we can kill ourselves. Also, Kissy, what if they remove Elusive from Ziliax instead? That might be an option. Because it's... I feel like no singular keyword on Ziliax is broken, but all of them together is just so strong. I can keep us alive a bit. Kissy, can we at the end of the stream check more of my custom cards? I had so many of them, also some spicy ones. Yeah, sure. I'll check it a bit more. The original Ziliax is about the one from Boomsday. Oh yeah, original Ziliax is also very good. Let's do this. This. If I can get some kind of removal or AoE, please. What else we got here? Oh yeah, JRF Magic. What's your take on Robert Downey Jr. coming back, especially in a different role? Thanks for sharing the cherry. No problem. I don't know what country you're in, or if they have IKEA. Like I think IKEA is like around the globe, right? But it's a bestseller apparently. Frostbolt is nice. Rising Waves is nice. Actually, Rising Waves will just clear next turn. That's really nice. Actually, if he plays something with 1 or 2 health, it won't clear, so hopefully he doesn't do that. Bruh, not gonna lie, I like Robert Downey Jr. as Doom, depending on how they do it. Tony Stark and Doom have a few things in common. There's even a story where Tony becomes Doom and Doom becomes Iron Man. Yeah, I'm really curious how they're gonna do it, right? Oh no, the 2 health. If it wasn't for this 2 health guy, this would have cleared the board. Alright, we just bide our time. Alright, let me ping this. Once again, hope he doesn't play something with 1 or 2, and then I can ping it and Rising Waves. Yeah, I'm very curious what they'll do with Robert Downey Jr. and Doctor Doom. Because like you said, I feel like, I don't know, like, is it going to be Tony Stark that like goes down a different path? Like, how else would you argue having the same actor, right? I feel like that's the route they're going to go. Is that Doctor Doom is going to be Tony Stark from some other universe that like went down a different path. I feel like they have to go that way. Oh, come on. Well, there's another turn 5, turn 6 loss, guys. All right, let's do one more. I feel like especially because the ladder just reset, everyone is just playing like the aggro decks to climb, right? Everyone's playing Elemental Mage, Elemental Rogue, like the fast, quick decks. Also, bro, you know how they fix Ziliax, removing poison? It'll still be very strong and win against aggro, but it will give it a better chance. I actually, you are right. Removing poisonous from Ziliax, that could be good enough.
Knowledge is power.
So, how do we mulligan for Warrior? Keep Sif? Although if he dirty rats it, that sucks. I will say, I've been a warrior with like 70, 80 armor and lost to Sif Mage before. So even if he stacks a shit ton of armor, it's still possible to kill them. Also, Kissy, I really don't like reusing the same actor for different roles in the same universe. It's like Chris Evans for both Human Torch and Captain America again. At least with that one, like, they were different companies. Like, yes... because at the time, wasn't Fantastic Four, the rights were owned by Sony, I think? So even though now Marvel has rights to Fantastic Four, at the time they were different companies, right? But Marvel, like the same company, just hiring the same actor for a different role, it does feel weird for sure. Also, JRF, I think Elusive isn't a huge deal. It's just a combo of Poison, Reborn, Shield with Taunt to boot. Magic, they're obviously forcing visual effects artists to work on impossible deadlines, which is bad for the CGI. That's part of the problem too, right? Marvel has just been pumping out so much shit. Like, if you're pumping out that much stuff, the quality is obviously going to go down. Like, it's a quality versus quantity thing, right? And for a while, I feel like it was literally like every couple weeks, either a new Marvel show was coming out, a new Marvel movie, and it was just too much to keep up with. Yeah, it was too much to keep up with. And especially, you know, things would come out. Things would come out like, you know, say a new movie would come out, right? And you would basically have to have watched like 2 shows. Don't hit Civ. 25% chance, guys. Why do I whiff all of the RNGs and my opponents hit all of the RNGs? Well, that's a game to end on. I think to get that sour taste out of my mouth, to look at some more of Kissy's custom cards. But yeah, like I was saying, right? There would be like a Marvel movie would come out, right? And it would basically be like, oh, to understand this movie, you have to watch this show, and this movie. And for like your average moviegoer, it's just too much. You can't expect everyone to like keep up with all of these releases to understand the future releases. Like it's just too much. So yeah, definitely the quantity is what killed like I think all of their stuff. Hugh says elementals are everywhere in standard right now. Yeah, like I said, I think it's because the ladder reset, right? I think it's because the ladder reset and people just want to climb with quick decks. Magic, I'm not an MCU or comic book fan, so I'm not really sure. Tinned, Marvel are notorious for having heroes fight with their masks off because the actors are pretty. So they're going to have Doom, who I'm pretty sure can't take his mask off, not wear his mask. Actually, yeah, that's a weird spot, right? Because on one hand, if you have Robert Downey Jr. playing a character who never takes his mask off, like what's the point of having Robert Downey Jr.? But on the other hand, if he keeps taking his mask off, what's the point of it like being that character? It is an interesting conundrum. Bruh, after Ultimatum, Marvel produced 0 good movies for 2-3 years straight. Yeah, it's insane because, like I said, leading up to Infinity War and Endgame, I watched every single Marvel movie. Like, I was waiting for them to come out. I'd either go to the theaters or I'd watch them as soon as possible. I think Infinity War was amazing. I think Endgame was even better. It was like such a good climax. You know, for building up to these movies for so long, they executed it so well. I think Endgame and Infinity War were so well done, and then it's just like nosedived after that. There's been a couple good movies here and there since, but for the most part, it's just not up to par, I don't think. Bruh, I took my ex to watch Eternals. Maybe that's why we broke up. Man, see, Eternals is one. I had really high hopes for Eternals, and I don't think Eternals was like the worst Marvel movie to come out recently, but it definitely was not great. Magic, I think it's like Star Wars where fans are feeling fatigue. Star Wars is a very, very similar situation, actually. I think almost everything's like I had a conversation recently with some family about this because they're very pro Star Wars, right? And I said how I think nearly everything Star Wars that has come out since the Disney acquisition, shit. I'll say it. I think basically every Star Wars movie and show that's come out since Star Wars was bought by Disney, bad. I think there's a couple exceptions. I think Rogue, actually, it's funny because the main 2 exceptions I can think of are tied to each other. It is Rogue One and Andor. I think Rogue One and Andor are such good movies and TV shows. And it's funny because they basically have nothing to do with like Jedi and the Force. Like, how is it that Star Wars, their best content is the stuff that doesn't even revolve around like what makes Star Wars Star Wars? It's funny how that works out. So I'm very excited for the 2nd season of Andor. And it's kind of nice that like with Andor, right? You know what happens in the end. Like the end is already written. So they can't really stretch out Andor into like a million seasons. Like I'm pretty sure they already said the 2nd season is the last season. So it's nice that there's like it's a finite amount of seasons, right? Because people love stretching out shows. But yeah, Andor and what did I say? Rogue One. Very, very, very good. But Star Wars is the same. I grew up watching Star Wars. My household was very much like Star Wars, Star Trek. My dad is a huge nerd and watched all that stuff, and I grew up watching that stuff, right? So I remember seeing the prequels in theaters when I was a kid. And Star Wars is the same. I feel like so much Star Wars stuff comes out nowadays that I don't even watch half of it. Old Marvel movies are actually really well written. The new ones aren't, and no one's talking about it. They're talking about all these different factors. Too many movies and TV shows. It's not an issue in comic books. It doesn't work well in live action. Endgame was a natural ending to the franchise. Everything after feels like inconsequential sequels. I feel like part of the problem too is like after Endgame, they keep trying to like top it, right? The whole like multiverse stuff. Actually, I'm gonna change this off of the chair. I'm having this whole conversation with just a chair sitting here. What can we put here instead? Here, we'll put my tier list there. But yeah, ever since Endgame, they keep trying to like up the ante, right? With all like the multiverse shit. It hasn't like sat well, I don't think. I like the 2 standalone movies, Rogue One and Solo. Solo was okay. It wasn't, I don't know. I feel like Solo gets a little bit too much of a bad rap. I don't think it was awful. I don't think it was great. Oh yeah, Mandalorian. I forgot about that. Mandalorian was fun for a bit, but got boring. I stopped watching. Everything else was crap. So I think season 1 and season 2 of The Mandalorian were excellent. I think season 3 wasn't bad, but it wasn't nearly as good as the first 2. Like, I think it was a noticeable step down from the first 2 seasons. Also, yeah, for anyone joining late, here's the tier list. So if you missed it, this is how I ranked all of the Colossals. You can check this out instead of the IKEA chair. Also, Kissy only liked the prequels. Yeah, I remember seeing the prequels when I was a kid. Like what year did The Phantom Menace come out? So I was 9 years old. I was born 1990. So I remember seeing The Phantom Menace in theaters. You know what's funny is I have not seen the Star Wars prequels since I was a child. I have not seen them since like I either saw them in theaters or they came out on VHS because I'm that old. I refuse to watch these movies again as an adult because I remember as a kid loving these movies. I feel like me seeing these movies in theaters was like my parents' generation seeing the originals in theaters, right? It just like, it blew my mind. It was so cool. And I have seen some clips of the prequels now as an adult, and it has not aged well. I refuse to watch these movies again. I am just going to keep the memory of these movies like me as a child watching them. I do not want to watch them again as an adult and ruin it. Also, Magic, hot take, the only MCU and Star Wars movies I thought were good were Iron Man, A New Hope, and Empire Strikes Back. I feel like all the others were metacore at best, or mediocre. Yeah, I think the prequels, probably the third one is probably the best. But yeah, I think as an adult, or in hindsight, they're not nearly as good as I remember. The prequels, or sorry, not the prequels, the sequels, the newest ones since the Disney acquisition, they're pretty to look at, but I don't know. They did some things right, some things wrong. Yeah, definitely. I feel like they didn't live up to the hype at the very least. Palpatine was the best character in the prequels for me. Yeah, aren't you glad they brought back Palpatine in the last movie for no reason? Such a cop-out. Hugh, I think Rogue One's popularity is because of its staying away from Jedi and the Force, rather than in spite of it. It let us get another perspective of the world after already going through it through Luke. Yeah, I agree, right? Both Rogue One and Andor kind of let you see this universe as like a normal person. Like I said, it's crazy that, you know, like the core and the heart of Star Wars, right, is like Jedi, the Force, all of that stuff, right? It's crazy that Rogue One and Andor have nothing to do with them, and they're some of the best Star Wars content ever released, I think. Like, it goes to show you, right, that they can make Star Wars, like, because that's part of the problem with Star Wars too, right? I think Star Wars, it takes place in a whole universe over hundreds and thousands of years, and they keep going back to a very specific place and a very specific time frame. Like, there's so much for them to explore, both in terms of like location, time frame. There's so much lore. Like, there's a million Star Wars books. There's so much lore to dive into, but instead, it's like, okay, let's make another movie based around the Skywalkers. Let's make another show on Tatooine. Like, it's just, they just keep regurgitating the same shit. So I think that's what upsets me about Star Wars, is there's so much like untapped potential, but Disney just keeps going like the safe route instead. So that's a bummer. Also, Hugh says, whoa, Glug all the way down there. There's a C, right? Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like one, Glug wasn't ran that much, and two, 90% of the time you played Glug, your opponent would just kill it the next turn, and then you just got a bunch of 2/2 taunts. So I don't think Glug's like a horrible card. I think Azumat and Kolok are worse, but wasn't a great card. Also, Bruss says the Leviathan, my beloved. Yeah, Leviathan, very, very good. Yeah, I don't think there's... So, looking at this in hindsight, is there anything I would change now that it's like stewed a bit? This is S, 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 S. It pains me a bit to put Gigafin in A tier because I'm a huge Warlock player and I played the shit out of Gigafin, but I do think it's an A. I could see an argument for one or any of these going down to C. After the nerfs, Nelly was like D tier. But before the nerfs, Nelly was S tier, so I kind of balanced it out at a 5. Yeah, I think I'm still happy with it. I won't double back on my choices. Also, bro, I've never watched Star Wars. You mean like any Star Wars content at all, or you just mean like the core movies? And yes, Hugh, somehow Palpatine returned. Magic, I want to see a Star Wars and a Harry Potter crossover. That's just 3 hours of Yoda and Dobby makeout session. Okay, that sounds like some fanfic in the makes there. Gigafin is most definitely S. It's the one that aged the best. Syndragosa is probably an A. I feel like Syndragosa... I don't know. I feel like Syndragosa is not a bad card. Like, don't get me wrong. Bees are not bad. But I feel like Syndragosa wasn't really, like, ran in decks. I feel like most of the time I saw it, it was either, like, discovered or generated off something. Maybe my time in Wild has blessed me. I see Glug all the time from Big Shaman. The absolute bane of any aggro deck if it gets pulled or something by that 6 or 8 cost horse. That's interesting. Glug is like, I didn't know that. Like, Glug has kind of gained popularity in Wild. Because I feel like in Standard, it wasn't really played. Bro, I watched the one with Finn and Rey, but only the first one. Oh, okay, so you watched the first of the sequels. Magic Prequels had an interesting concept with the clones, but they could have explored the mirror between mass-produced clone soldiers versus the mass-produced drones. Both were sentient beings built for war and then discarded after. Yeah, like the prequels had some cool aspects, like I said, but I don't know. Normally, I'm not like a big stickler for like CGI looking like crap, right? I've watched plenty of old movies. Like a recent example I was talking about with people are the original Planet of the Apes movies, which, if I remember right, the original Planet of the Apes movies came out in the 60s and the 70s, I think. 68, first one? Let's see here. What did I see something about? Is the longest something? Oh, longest running American science fiction series. That's cool. Original film series, 68, 70, 71, 72, 73. So I've watched all these. I think they're good movies. And obviously, like, they don't look great, right? It's literally people in like ape costumes. But I feel like they've aged decently well. Like, obviously it's not CGI, you know, it's before CGI, but I feel like this is an example of like practical effects aging much better than CGI, right? Especially like early 90s 2000s CGI has aged very, very poorly. But these movies I can watch. I think the story's good, and I feel like you can get used to like the costumes and the look of them, right? But something like the Star Wars prequels have aged so bad. And it's just like jarring to me. Like I said, I've seen some clips on YouTube from like the prequels, and I don't know. I can't bring myself to watch them again. And normally I don't have a problem with that stuff. It's just, I don't know, it's this weird middle ground. Like I feel like I can watch a movie with bad CGI. Like, I don't know. There's this fine line between it being like funny and it like pulling you out of the movie. I think that's the problem. Is like the CGI is kind of goofy in some of these movies. And it just like it pulls me out of the movie. Also, Hugh, I guess Glug is a lot scarier on turn 4 than turn 7. The prequels aren't necessarily good as films, but they're really enjoyable to watch. Like I said, seeing like the lightsaber fights in the prequels as a kid blew my mind. Because like I said, I was 9 here. When did the others come out? 2002. So I was 12, then 15. Yeah, I like lost my mind because there was obviously like big spectacle lightsaber fights in the prequels. And yeah, that shit blew my mind. But I don't know. I refuse to watch them again. I think the hate for CGI is so strong because we only notice bad CGI. Yeah, like I said, such like 90s and 2000s CGI when they were very much, it was very new, right? Gigafin is played in Reno or Wild Reno Lock. Nice. I wouldn't have guessed that. I feel like I didn't expect Gigafin to be like wild playable. There's so much CGI that's invisible. That's a good point too, right? The best CGI is the stuff you don't even notice. Or, funny enough, Planet of the Apes. The newest Planet of the Apes are like insane how good the CGI looks. And I've seen some like behind the scenes clips of like the new Planet of the Apes, and there's so much shit in like the background that's CGI, you'd have no idea. Like there's scenes in the movies that are 100% CGI, like nothing practical, and you would never guess. Like it looks so good. There's a great video essay on the CGI used in Top Gun Maverick that talks about VFX and its artists. I think I've seen that. I've seen some of the like very subtle CGI used in Top Gear and some other movies to really like great effect. Do people complain about the CGI looking bad when the prequels come out? No, because all CGI looked like shit at that point. If anything, it probably looked really good at the time. But like I said, I think 90s, 2000s CGI is just aged very, very poorly. But yeah, I don't remember them looking bad. Like, especially like that's how things looked back then, right? So like, yes, things look very like janky or bad now, but back then it was kind of the norm. Or it looked very good. You have also played Gigafin in every Warlock sometimes. He can be cheated out very early with Sea Devil Stinger and literally turn the tides. Gigafin's playable in WoW because of the Warlock Murloc that makes your next Warlock cost health. Oh, yeah. Played on turn 4. Okay. I think that might be it for me, though. I enjoyed a little chat. I keep thinking about, because there's been a couple streams I've done now where I haven't even played Hearthstone. I've done a couple streams now where I did a tier list for basically the entire time. I've done the one stream where I rated all of the cards, and it's just fun just chatting with you guys sometimes. I keep thinking about that. Maybe like every couple of weeks, we could do a stream and we could just talk about, whatever's in the news, or we can talk about TV shows or movies or something. It's fun. It's fun getting different opinions and just kind of chilling and talking with you guys, right? So I have to do it some more. I enjoyed our Star Wars and what's the other one? Star Wars and Marvel talk. Next time we'll talk about Star Trek. Star Trek is the next topic. But yeah, thanks for watching, Spinny. Hope you guys have a good night. Hope you... also, Magic, this was my first stream on the channel. It was fun. Nice. Well, welcome. Hopefully I'll see you again next time. I do stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So I will be back on Monday. Next week will be Hunter Week. So I guess I'll refresh your guys' memory. Do I have a hunter deck here? No. But so I've been playing for 10 years now, right? And it recently got leaked that my hunter is not level 60. After 10 years now. Come on, Hearthstone. My hunter's level 55. I pretty much only play hunter in like tavern brawls and maybe arena. So basically next week will be hunter week. So I will play the hunter decks you guys send me. And my goal is to get hunter to 60 next week. So yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, we'll play some hunter decks, see how that goes. So if you guys have any suggestions, whether it be standard deck, wild deck, whatever, go ahead, either post on the Discord or you can just post it here when I'm live. But yeah, that's the plan for next week. Other than that, hope you guys have a good night. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys have a good weekend. And hopefully I'll see you Monday. Take care, everyone. Also, yes, Brad, no Warriors were hurt today. Thank goodness. Take care.